Hi, everybody. We're going to start in a minute when a couple more people get in. We'll just start where we left off. I don't know what happened with StreamYard. It just kicked us off. So let me mute this because it's going to start any minute. Hi, everyone. What a cluster F. Should have gone to mistrial. But this way we'll get to see what Hanky's saying. Yes. You guys are back. Okay. Now, Lana, tell me when you want me to start it. I think I'm going to wait for a minute. Yeah. This is such a miscarriage of justice, what we're seeing here. Our American justice system is set up so that if you follow the right laws, there's no corruption, and it's where you find the truth. That's what cross-examination's for. And I'm firing it up. And we have not gotten there with Beth in the way. Okay.
But she's undertaken at least 50, or that's what she estimates, 50 of those autopsies herself. She's seen dog bites.
Any background on accident reconstruction or accident reconstruction type classes or seminars?
I don't think so.
All right, thank you, Dr. LaPosada.
No, you're welcome.
So can I just ask Dr.
Yes.
LaPosada about, you said you've been involved in autopsies with dog bites.
Yes.
How many?
I've done thousands of cases, probably 50 or so. It's not always the cause of death. And then I've supervised maybe 75 more where that dog bites were involved in the case.
When was the last one?
Let's see, probably 2 years ago.
Okay. Any questions based on my questions? All right. You are all set. I'm going to ask you to step down, Dr. LaPosada. We'll get to you sometime this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
I do want to give everybody a break, including counsel. Can we do less than 5-minute arguments on this?
John, I'll make this very brief.
Okay.
Dr. LaPosada is eminently qualified to speak to both the issue of wound pattern recognition as it relates to dog bites, specifically, as well as cause and manner of death as it relates to vehicle pedestrian incidents or impacts. The doctor has an incredibly impressive resume, just a touch of which we reviewed during the course of this voir dire for her qualifications. But with regard to the dog bite specifically, she talked about the differential diagnosis that she undertakes and undertook in this case. She talks about the inferential thinking that she undertook in this case. She talks about how that is the proper methodology in the scientific community and specific to the forensic pathology community in order to come to a determination about wounds and the source of wounds, i.e., was it a dog, was it another animal, was it another source, was it lacerations versus abrasions, things of that nature. She's obviously done, as she indicated, thousands, if not climbing real close to 10,000 autopsies that she's either supervised or that she's conducted herself. She actually has, notably, as per the court's last question, she's actually undertaken personally somewhere close to, I thought it was probably 5 autopsies herself dealing with dog bites. They're not always the cause of death, but sometimes it's attendant to the injuries that led to a different cause of death. But she's undertaken at least 50, or that's what she estimates, 50 of those autopsies herself. She's seen dog bites, she's seen dog wounds, she engages in pattern recognition. She also teaches classes on pattern recognition as it pertains to dog bites, and she's eminently qualified to speak to that in this particular case. She has been able to come to an opinion and conclusion as to whether or not the injuries to John O'Keefe's arm are consistent or inconsistent with dog bites, and I expect that she would then give that opinion and conclusion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty and to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty. As it relates to her differential diagnosis and her ultimate conclusions concerning the automobile impact, obviously, many more autopsies dealing with that because it's more common. She also engaged in the exact same differential diagnosis. She has training. The subfield of, or the sub-issue of vehicle pedestrian impacts is included and subsumed within much of the medical literature that she's been taught on, going all the way back to the 1980s, dealing with her boards, and she's consistently passed her boards. She's consistently kept up with the literature. She's consistently engaged in autopsies herself, so she has firsthand training. She also trains other medical professionals, other doctors, other medical examiners, and she supervises other medical examiners. She's been the chief medical examiner for an entire state. I cannot imagine somebody more eminently qualified to talk about the two subjects that she's been called to talk, well, she's called to talk about several other subjects, but these two subjects that's before the bench right now, than somebody with Dr. LaPosada's qualifications. I will submit on the voir dire that we just completed.
All right,
Your Honor.
thank you. Mr. Brennan.
I do not think that Dr. LaPosada has articulated the experience the way it's been summarized. She could not provide any specific training other than her boards and her references to literature. She could not articulate one single class or seminar that she took that pertained to differential diagnosis of dog bite injuries. She has no specific memory of having any type of experience in differential diagnosis as far as being in a training, seminar, or advanced education. She has the experience of a medical examiner who has seen what she believes to be dog bites in the past. She has no publications or references that she has studied the issue of differential diagnosis or pattern wound recognition relative to dog bites. If we look at the standard Dr. Russell employed, Dr. LaPosada does not have any of the merit to be an expert in dog bites. While she has taught, we did not hear about anything in particular that she has taught about specific pattern wound recognition analysis regarding dog bites. She is an experienced medical examiner, has a wealth of experience, past experience in autopsies, but she has no experience that is a basis for her as an expert in being a dog bite expert. Particularly, she mentions one case that she's testified in federal court that we've heard of today, and she has nothing whatsoever in her report or resume to establish that she has used, studied, and knows this methodology. In fact, her CV and her report don't have any basis for one to look at and see that she has any specific experience in dog bites. And so Dr. LaPosada, from the Commonwealth's perspective, should not be able to give an opinion regarding or about whether or not the wounds on Mr. O'Keefe were caused by a dog. She simply does not have the training and experience and education and methodology to make her a so-called dog bite expert. Regarding accident reconstruction, she said it best. She is not an accident reconstructionist. She saw some of the materials in this case, but it is a fraction of the materials in this case. She is not in a position to give an opinion whether or not the wounds are consistent with broken taillight. There is nothing we see on her CV. There's nothing we see in her report. There's nothing we heard on direct examination that she has any experience in breaking glass, breaking plastics, and the causation of wounds. It also overlooks the fact that the opinion that would be offered would extend beyond just the wounds on the arm. It would extend to a general opinion that he was not involved in a collision, and that's improper. There's no predicate or basis for it. And so based on her testimony and absence of being able to provide any education or experience, she should not be able to testify about either of these two matters.
Okay, thank you.
Briefly respond.
Okay.
She was, Mr. Brennan suggests that, well, she's only been qualified in one court, federal court, but the federal government, the federal judge that was handling that case qualified her as a dog bite expert in that case. That is not a small thing. That is, matter of fact, it's a very big thing for Dr. LaPosada and her credentials. In addition, she indicated, contrary to what Mr. Brennan just suggested, she indicated that she has been training on wound pattern recognition as it pertains to dog bites for her entire career, not just when she was studying for her boards, since she's been studying for her boards. And it's been constant and consistent throughout her entire career. She's made these differential diagnoses. She's seen the autopsies. She's seen the wounds during autopsies firsthand, probably 50 or more. She's supervised another 75 or more autopsies dealing with known dog bite wounds. She has the credentials. The court will recall that, for instance, Dr. Isaac Wolf was called to testify by the Commonwealth. He had absolutely nothing, no credentials whatsoever to talk about wound pattern recognition. He was a neurosurgeon, and yet he was allowed, over Mr. Alessi's objection, to talk about and to discuss his opinions and conclusions as to the wound pattern on the back of John O'Keefe's head. Certainly, Dr. LaPosada brings much, much, much more to the table than Dr. Isaac Wolf. I'm not comparing them. They're apples and oranges. Dr. LaPosada is she doesn't have to be a sole dog bite expert to be expert in dog bites. She doesn't have to be Dr. Russell. She just has to have that level of knowledge, that level of skill, that level of expertise that's beyond that of the average layperson in order to opine as an expert on a particular issue. She certainly brings that to the table as it pertains to dog bites, and I think her skill and her education, training, and background certainly speaks to the fact that she has that in spades with regard to motor vehicle pedestrian incidents.
All right.
I'll submit.
Thank you. All right, I'll get your ruling as soon as I can. So we're going to start back up at 2:20, and I expect to go straight through the rest of the act.
All rise for the court, please.
Hey guys, while we wait for Alana, what do you guys think? Oh shoot, I got used to this. One sec. Hate that. Yeah, put all the links out, Lana. So we were just slapped with another Bev denying mistrial, and this time behind plexiglass. The Commonwealth decided to put, I don't even know whose hoodie they put there, right? That is just egregious. I mean, I don't even think there's a word. I think even Alessi was out of words, and he's like the wordsmith. It's really disheartening. Oh, here's Elo.
What's up, bitches? What's up?
What do you think?
And this is some motherfucking shit. First of all, the first thing I think is shit is StreamYard could kiss my motherfucking ass. That's what I think is shit. How did we get booted? Out of all people, how did we get booted?
No, I think like a lot of people.
Because we're just like, no, they weren't. No one got booted else. I went around ahead and checked all the streams. It's because we some smart bitches, and when they see how smart we are and we use our brains to overcome the fuckerage of StreamYard, we get fucked.
Okay. It's just
hanging out with my Asian friends. Leave me alone.
It's been one of those days. It's been a bend over and take it day. Not happy about it.
Listen to this. So guess what they said I could do here?
You could stream.
They told me that I could have the TV that is big up, you know where I'm at. up on the right-hand side. And I said, can you turn the music off on this side?
Oh, thank God,
And
that music is horrible.
yeah, and I'll rent out this portion of it just for like a couple days. And I just want one person to lay flat on the table with just sushi on them. And
Okay, you get to pick who?
yeah, I get to pick who.
Can you pick that really tall guy?
Excuse me?
Pick the really tall guy. You'll get more sushi.
Yeah, no, I'm good on the sushi. Anyways, so number one, I'm pissed that we got booted because we smart, and they're like, oh, I see what they just tried to do up in here. But number two, this is a straight mistrial. I don't care what Beverly Canone says. Beverly Canone is wrong. She is absolutely 100% wrong. This is so material. I'm like, do you understand that hit 5 witnesses? What Hank did. It hit,
100%.
yeah, it hit Wolf. It hit Hartnett, who I love. Wolf, Hartnett. It hit the DNA lady, Kuhn from UC Davis, who I think they have somebody instead of her now because she was like sick or some shit. I can't remember. And then they showed the pieces. He showed the fragments. And so that would be Proctor, which he's not even testifying. And then the clothing period. I mean, that affected the chain of custody with at least 5. And then here's Hank. Do you see holes in here? Yeah, I see holes in your case. I see holes in your case. Do you see any holes in here? Yeah. Do you see holes in here? Did you really look? Do you see holes in there? Did you take that into consideration when you did your blah, 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 blah? It's like, and then Bev just thinks she can just, like, nothing to see here. Oh, hey, by the way, just to let you guys know, those holes in the back of the sweatshirt, those are from our own criminal law.
Oh, you cut out. Yeah, Bev was really egregious in that, and she's gonna get overturned. You're back now.
Yeah, but can you hear me?
I can now.
You can now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on one second. I have to put do not disturb on. I got people that always try to fuck with my shit. Thank you. Oh, Lana's live and she's from her phone. Let me just call her phone.
And it's all right. You were saying
Anyway.
the chain of custody, and there's nothing to see here, says Bevy.
Yeah, I think that's just well, I think what's most egregious about it is we have to talk about what the most egregious thing is. Ready? The most egregious part is that it was planned. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew not to enter in those 2 exhibit YYZZ. He totally leaves all of that out. He knew exactly what he was going to do this whole entire time. We're not just talking about today, y'all. He was planning on presenting this. Think about this as a lawyer. I mean, Bella, how much time do I take to prep for my fucking stupid ass shit?
What, like, you mean the whole thing? Oh my God.
No, I mean, I just say, like, on one person I'm going to question.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of prep, guys. I mean,
there's a ton of prep because you have no idea if something's going to be sustained or overruled. So you need to have, like, where you're going to go with this, how you're going to pivot. And so Hank, it was planned. Like, he didn't just think, oh, I'm going to do that today, or I'm going to do that, like, when he thought, oh, over the weekend. No, that's why it's egregious. This is calculated. This is calculated misconduct. This isn't a mistake.
No, it's not. It's not a sheer
This is your case in chief, but yet on a cross-examination, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Fuck all these people.
Mm-hmm. It's going to come to light, and it doesn't matter what happens here. They're preserving. That's what I was telling you. They're preserving the record. I just know how Bev rolls.
Well, I want to say this too. I want to give a shout out to all the lawyers out there. Like, Andrea is not a fence rider. I love Andrea Burkhart for that reason. There is no fence riding with Andrea Burkhart. She will call it out, okay? But these other people that have law tubes out there, call out the shit, because I don't need the commentary. I want you to call out, like, I'm relying on you as a lawyer to give us the money shot, man. Call these bitches out. Like
100%.
like fuck you fence friend motherfuckers. You wanna be on law? You wanna be a law tuber instead of a fucking lawyer? Okay, then fucking own it. Own that. Own that role, and that why people would be listening to you.
Yeah.
Is that they want to hear it. Like Mark Betterow, same thing. He's awesome at it. He's calling fucking people out.
Yeah, it's not like you're trying to save your careers here. You have to have
No, they're switching their careers. They didn't even.
no, but what they're doing,
How can you be on YouTube this much and actually practice law? I want to know.
but
because-
that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to preserve their careers in case it doesn't work on YouTube. And what you need to do is that oath you took, you need to take it seriously. And that means to be really disgusted at what just happened and call it out.
That is misconduct on top of misconduct on top of misconduct. Lally should have called it out. Lally tried the case last year.
100%.
Lally sat there and he would know that those fucking holes were cut by fucking titty bitch Hartnett. Like, come on. Like, you cannot, this is the hypocrisy. You cannot say that these people, thank you so much for asking. Is it because I'm getting rowdy? I love them. I love these people. Fuck with them all day. I'm just sorry, but this should give everybody every reason why not to trust the system. What happened here in this courtroom today should give every fucking person in Norfolk County who ever got arrested and went through the process and was convicted through the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. I'm sorry. This is fucking wrong. Okay? You don't need to use law terms to see what fairness is and what unfairness is. Like, what's fair, what's unfair. Okay? You as a parent and you have 2 kids, you cut up a sandwich and you give half of the piece to the one kid and you give half of the piece to the other kid. Do you cut a sandwich and give the one kid a little sliver and give the other kid the whole fucking sandwich? Or do you cut it down the middle? You want to know what you should teach your kids is, hey, you guys want to divide the sandwich? Here, you cut it and you get to pick what side you want. Have your kids cut, you get to cut it, and now you get to pick which part you want. That's how you teach people living in one shoe in the other shoe. Like,
that's how you teach
cheap
them
ass bitches.
walk in each other's shoes.
Yeah,
You
well,
cut the
here,
sandwich
like,
and you,
that's how
honey,
you
get
clip
to
a
pick.
bitch from cheating.
Mhm.
Yeah, like whoever cuts it, the other person gets to pick from it. And, you know, and so I believe that the way that the justice system should change is that I don't think that any murder case should be one judge up there. I think there should be 3 judges and at least 2, but 3. And when we're talking murder, okay, like this isn't a fucking like a carjacking, all right? That you are gonna probably plead out on some shit, but You know how many cases are decided based off of quote unquote discretion, based off of like it's a referee.
Yes.
The judge is
Yes.
a referee, and she's supposed to be wearing a neutral. She's wearing a neutral jersey. But Bev
Right.
thinks that she's part of the Commonwealth. So does every fucking judge out there, though. It ain't just Bev, man. They think that they're an extension of the Commonwealth or they're an extension of the state, and they're not, man. They're just not. They're an extension of the people. Like, it's just gross.
No, it is. It's disgusting. But I mean, like, this is what is good about this case is that it's exposing anyone that thinks it's a conspiracy. It's exposing that. It's out here for everyone to see. I think I'm having feedback from your device.
It's mine. We're having feedback.
Yeah, like I think because I'm probably on speaker. You know how I love audio to be crisp.
So mine's having feedback.
No. When I talk, you're good when you talk.
I don't think you have feedback. I would tell you. You know I ain't fucking shy to say that. I just
I hear it.
this like will take a balloon. Like so think of like your self-esteem and it's a balloon, right? It's all big, okay? And Like, if I was every time you take a blow and you take a hit, like your balloon just. And
Is
then
it
there's
a
times
helium balloon?
yeah, no, and then there's times your balloon can get blown back up. Okay,
Mm.
here should have been a moment that it would have taken the Commonwealth's balloon and just deflated the fuck out of it, and it should have propelled Karen Reed's balloon. And at the end of the trial, you should just look at the two balloons and see which balloon has more fucking air in it, you know. But Bev, the way that she thought that she could just sweep that under the rug like somebody spilt milk at the lunch table and it was a mistake, or it was, oh my God, I didn't even, oh, it was a mistake. That is not a mistake. It's just not a mistake.
It's not.
That's not, those aren't even the
planned.
rules. Like, can you imagine if you're a pro se litigant and you say, "Oh, Your Honor, I just made a mistake. So can you not?" No, your fucking shit's getting thrown out. Like, we're not here to entertain that you're a fucking idiot and you should have got a lawyer and I made a mistake. Go get a lawyer. No, oh really? But here, you're gonna let licensed attorneys make mistakes that are in a murder trial that are so egregious and that have the presumption, like, oh, it just makes me sick. And how I don't care about take the Karen Reed case out of the picture. Think about if it was a fucking stupid ass, somebody stole a bike. Stop saying, oh, well, Karen Reed. This isn't about Karen Reed, man. When are you people gonna wake up? For Karen Reed, this is about Karen Reed. But to everybody else that's in America right now and lives here and is a citizen, this is about way more than Karen motherfucking Reed. I think it's obvious that Karen Reed has been framed, and it's way obvious that y'all need to take all those little cop popos and put them back into the grade school that they came out of originally, because they didn't go to college because they couldn't cut it, because they didn't have the grades to get into a fucking college. That we have to put fucking cops. Go be a cop. Here, you couldn't get into a college. Go be a cop. You know how many cops do that? Raise your hand because I know you out there. It's bullshit. This is all bullshit. And
Well,
Beth,
there's
blow it over.
procedure. There's procedure that's going to happen here. They're preserving the record. They have made this mistrial with prejudice on record, and it meets the criteria for it. And Bev denied it. So
Well, and guess why she doesn't care if she gets overturned? Because her one goal is to not expose all the people and let all the people go down.
apparently,
So they're willing to take. They don't care. They know that it's coming. You guys, this is what's sick, is they know that it's coming. That we're gonna go ahead and settle out with Karen Reed one day on this civil suit, and I just hope Karen Reed stays to her ground. Don't fucking settle, Karen. You've gone this far. Do not settle on a civil suit. Expose the fuck out of these motherfuckers. Don't, even if they toss you $50 million, man. At the point when you get $20 million, who gives a shit? If you've gone this far and you really want to make a difference of all the people like us that have donated to the fund, you can't stop with a settlement. You have to expose it. So with civil suits, that's why if there's one thing that Crystal Sorey did wrong is she took a settlement. Like, if you want to expose the system for what it did to your kid, you don't take settlements. You're going to get paid. Trust me, you will get paid. But you're just not going to get paid as quickly. So then it tells me that you're just all about the money if you're just trying to take a quick settlement. When all these people are riding with you, go the distance. Fuck all these people. Take down the system.
this is exposing everybody that Proctor has arrested, everybody that Morency has gone hard for. This is exposing all of that, and Bev needs to get out of the country, because what she just did right now is her career. It's not going to uphold. This is
But
so
the only way that it shows that it fucked her career is, I agree, DB, it goes way further up. Yes, it does. It goes way further up. And people may not like, because I never make my channel about politics, but you should be, it doesn't matter what color you think you are, as far as I'm a red or I'm a blue. Dude, if you can't turn on the television and watch 10 minutes of this trial and think to yourself, yeah, this is totally fair, then you're an idiot. You're an absolute fucking moron. Because it's not about whether you Karen Read guilty or innocent. This is about a process, a proceeding that is supposed to be fair. And this is anything but fair. Anything but fair. And if Karen didn't have a goddamn dollar, she had some public defenders. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Get out of here. Because the public defenders they're owned by the who do you think pays their goddamn salaries? Public defenders. Who pays their salaries, y'all? A public defender, who's paying them? Come on, 101, who's paying them? So you think a public defender is going to cause a lot of ruckus? Because who's paying, who's writing that check? The state. The fucking government. Ridiculous. Yeah. We the people, right? You would think, but it's bullshit.
It's not about politics with this, though. It is what it like. The law is very black and white, and especially in a state like Massachusetts, where our founding fathers, came up with these ideas to make this country a better place than where they came from. And if we were constitutionalists, that's the main objective here. It's like there's these laws put down for reasons, and Bev is just nutting all over it, and just like I just feel like it's a really raw deal right now. But I know that it's going to get over.
Wait, but this is the crutch of the case. Was John O'Keefe hit by the car? Was he hit by the car? And Hank Brennan just tried to tell the jury that his fucking hoodie had holes in the back of it. Are you kidding me? And then if any of these jurors take longer than 15 minutes in the deliberating room, you a bunch of pussies. They just lied to you. But there's just a shriveled little turtle. What's going on over here? They just lied. This wasn't a mistake. They lied and they got caught. It's like cheating in Monopoly. I saw you taking the money out of free parking, bitch. Like, what did you say? What? No, you out of the game. You're gone. You don't play with cheaters. Nobody plays with cheaters. What do you do when somebody cheats on you and you're dating them? Okay, it's just a mistake. Let's fucking go hang out some more. It exposes America for what it is. Idiots are having sex with idiots, and they're producing idiots. So can the idiots stop fucking, please? Thank you.
It's the movie
If the idiots would stop fucking each other, we'd be fine.
It's the new Orwellian. It's literally the new Orwellian future is the movie Idiocracy. It came true.
If the fucking idiots are going to keep screwing the idiots, we are going to have nothing but idiots on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we see it here.
We do. It's been happening long enough that it's produced it. Absolutely. Everyone needs to get their heads out of their phones and out of their asses and start really living. But I just know this is going to get overturned, and I'm ready for it.
But remember, if you don't have any money, think about this. You don't have money. How can you overturn it? If you don't have an appellate attorney, you think this would get overturned? No.
But that's not what we're dealing with. Yes, you're right, though. If that's what we were dealing with, it would be concerning. I think that...
No, but we are dealing with that. You think Karen Read owes money? If all these lawyers are just, like, not getting paid because there ain't no money in the tank, I mean...
No, unless...
You know who I think should be paying Karen Read's defense fund? All the news outlets that are running this shit, okay? All the news outlets that are using this as entertainment should be paying the Karen Read's defense fund. You know how much money they're making off of having, like, I don't know, 50,000 people watch a feed a fucking day? Do you know how much money you make on that? Mm-hmm. Well, let me break it down for you. I'd be happy to tell everybody. Fuck all you people. I want to expose it all. That's why it matters, like, who you want to go watch and listen to. Like, that's, like, who you're supporting. And all these people that are watching off of... Dude, realize who you're supporting and where you go and watch. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, man. Dumb. dumb. Dum-dums.
Can we just talk about the image of having
Talk about
that-
what? You can't even talk facts about this case because we can't even get it past the fucking egregious misconduct. He violated rule 8.4, 3.4, 4.1, 3.3. Those are rules that you cannot.
Did you say 3.1 yet?
Yeah, I said 3.1, 3.4. He violated 4.1. He violated 8.4. And these are what they are is truthfulness to the tribunal, candor to the tribunal, truthfulness statements to third parties, truthfulness statements to opposing
Then you
counsel.
need to tell everybody what you. This is professional rules of conduct that all
Yeah.
lawyers have to abide by. It's like the American Bar Association's rules of professional
Yeah.
conduct.
These are if you don't uphold these, like right here, right now, guys, we're going to the bar. Every single one of you guys, I'm writing it all up for us. We are all taking a bar complaint to the bar against Hank. Hank will lose his license for what he just did if we take it to the bar. That's all that has to happen. Hank will literally. And so what I want to know is where these law tubers are going to why don't they write it up? That's what they do for a living. Because they play in some fucked up world as well. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to tell on my fucking, like we take some, it's just like what you think of like the lines of like the thin blue line, the thick blue line. Well, how about the lawyer fucking red line? Because I can't find a lawyer in this fucking town that wants to go sue another lawyer. And I think to myself, why? You're just suing a person. Why do you have to look at it as you're suing somebody based on their occupation? Like, McDonald's served me a hot coffee and I spilled it and I made $8 million, right? You had no problem suing McDonald's, right? So I want you to sue this fucking lawyer. And they just won't do it. And it pisses me off. And I think that should be misconduct. I think that's discrimination.
Just
Girl, I'm going to be on one, man.
I know, and I'm trying to like take. I was on a 10. Like I don't cuss like that ever.
Oh, I have no problem saying it. Fuck all.
But I've been cussing all day in the chat because I'm really upset. So I'm like trying to take it down a notch. But yeah, no, I'm
And
pissed.
can you just make sure that the stream is all the way pushed forward? That way.
It is. I did it already. Way
Trust
ahead
me,
of
you guys think that Bev's coming back? Bitch ain't coming back for what time is it? Do you see her looking at her smartwatch? Like, who does she think she is? Her, like, when you want to talk about read a room, like our time means nothing. These are what you call entitled people. Like, I can't, dude. You want to talk about some entitlement that's going on? And I'm telling you right now, Alan Jackson would be saying the same shit that I'm saying.
Oh, he is.
You see Alessi put on those gloves and was just like, God, I love that man. I called Mark Bettero's office and said, hey, I'm looking for an attorney. I'll give you $10K in cash. Where would you like it? I didn't get a call back.
It's only been a couple of days, Lana.
I didn't get a call back.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I was go pro hack Viche on my case.
You're good with your pro hack Viche.
What do you mean,
Your
man?
pro se pro hack Viche.
My pro se has been nailing shit, but you know what? They're gonna find every way to fuck with me because I'm not a
No,
lawyer.
they have. It's a really hard position, you guys. If no one's ever been pro se before, it's an incredibly hard position to be in. And what that means is when you're representing yourself, you're not an attorney, and you walk in, it's literally.
Oh, and you get a backdoor email at 7:00 at night trying to cancel a hearing in the morning. I'm like, this is improper as fuck. I was given no notice. I was given no notice with the courts. I was given. I mean, I have a right to be heard. You're violating my due process if I'm not heard tomorrow. A lawyer or a judge can just cancel a hearing. Oh, they can? That's fine, but they're going to reschedule it. Oh, they aren't? Oh, well, then you're going to hear from my criminal. You're going to hear from my civil rights attorney that I don't fucking have.
that I don't have. That just
You're
wants
going to hear
to
from
talk
my
about
ass on my civil rights.
police misconduct and prisoners and, repping them for civil rights violations while I'm meeting all the criteria of the ABA. Yeah.
Dude, it's just a circle jerk. I don't care what anybody
is.
says. It's just great. It's great that. So I want to see these law tubers step it up, man. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Because I know my data research and my investigative skills, they can't be touched. I'll go up against anybody in the country. Fuck, I'll go up against anybody in the world. Let's go. Give us a case. Let's see who fucking nuts it and how fast they nut it while your client's still sitting there in prison. Bingo instructions. We are going with a single bingo out the gate once Bev gets here.
Once Bev steps up.
Yeah. I'm telling you, without the evidence that somebody finds in your case, it doesn't matter what type of lawyer you have. A lawyer needs shit to work with. They'll tell you that all day. You think lawyers that are good lawyers just take on cases that are, oh man, I got to do all this work? Fuck out of here.
You need a good legal analyst. They're everything. So, did you order?
Oh yeah, I'm just hanging out with my friends. See, my friends next to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll
just call it as I see it.
It's annoying. How long ago did she go away? 40 minutes?
Oh no. Yeah, probably. Probably, yeah. Not even.
Yeah.
Turtle Boy's out of court.
He had court today too. And I don't know if he's out of court.
Oh yeah, thank you. You need more water, please? Sure. Thank you. Appreciate that. Actually, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You're good.
Put in a memo contra.
Yeah, put in a memo contra. How about memo contra these titties?
Give me a memo contra.
Who is filling out a memo contra right now? I said my mom was what? You want my memo? You want my mom to testify?
I just did 500 pages and you're asking for a memo contra?
I just fucking nutted 500 pages. Like it took 300. It was 3 hours to file all this through the clerk of courts because they were like, "Oh my god, you really brought all the exhibits." I said, I want my exhibits in. I want my motion and my memo in support of my motion. And do you want me to, you know what, maybe I'm going to give you an affidavit too.
Didn't you do like 9 affidavits?
Yeah, I did. It was 400.
We need a memo contra, Miss Oriani.
It was 467 pages.
Struck.
467 pages. And I'm over here like, I have medical records, dental records. I mean, you name it. And I'm like, and what do they got on that side? What do they got, huh?
You're doing all the work.
Oh, an 8-page report from some fucking schmuck that I fucking blew his dick off on methodology in 7 questions.
Oh boy.
Methodology, my motherfucking titties. All I gotta say is I want to give a shout out to Bob Alessi. I love you, Bob Alessi. You literally blew my brains out when you gave me the whole methodology argument, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna methodology this man. I was like, because he used no methodology to come to his findings and facts and conclusions. And I was like, wait, but you're an expert, so I'm allowed to methodology you, and I'm allowed to voir dire you. So I went ahead and put a motion to voir dire this man. And then I said, can we rely on your billable hours to be the best evidence in this case on what you did, right? Well, no, because I just didn't bill for all the stuff I did. I said, excuse me? I said, okay, so you're admitting under oath that you didn't file the Super Rule 48.03 D through H, and where it says that you must record and document all billable hours spent. You're going to just admit that you didn't do that? God, I was like, you guys are hiding the 80 ballies. These people suck.
If you want to talk about Turtle Boy's trial coverage.
Trial coverage with this case?
No, if you want to talk about TV.
Oh, I think he's. I mean,
It's going
all
on.
I have to say is when this is over, and if Karen Reed does not fucking go hard for Turtle Boy, I will lose all respect for Karen Reed. That's all I gotta say. I think he's doing a bench trial, right?
That's what someone in chat said that he was asking for.
I can't speak on stuff until I like
Read
research
it.
my shit. Yeah,
Mhm.
I have nothing to say on that because I don't know what happened. I wasn't in the courtroom today for Turtle Boy, so I like to look at my shit before I speak on that.
Okay, so wait. I'm just telling you right now. I think that they're on lunch there too for Turtle Boy as well. So
Yeah, they work for lawyers work for 6 minutes, man. Every 6 minutes they're supposed to bill you.
okay.
Think about that. And so that's what I said. I said, so this guy was a lawyer, okay? And I said, well, so wouldn't your billable hours be the best evidence in this situation for what you did? This motherfucker says no. And I'm like, no?
and then you broke out Supra 48.
Yeah, then I broke out his fucking, okay. I said, okay, let's talk about it's superintendent guidelines on what you have to do. So then you just admitted under oath that you didn't follow the superintendent rules. Like
Number
what?
48.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting that I knew that.
No, he should have accepted. This is what just bothers me about this whole thing is you get up there, you've already cited Nolan versus Nolan. You cite these cases so they know you're not just a normal pro se, like you know your shit.
I went and found 8 more cases, by the way.
No. I already not more after all the other research that we did.
Yeah.
Like new 8 more versus.
Yeah,
Okay.
because now I want to depose him, and you have to find a good reason.
Saying that.
I can now depose this motherfucker. So I'm gonna try to depose him.
But I just think it's really telling that this is how corruption works. You guys are like how we see Bev, like we're looking at something and we're saying, oh my God, this is so apparent, right?
It's everywhere.
She
It's so bad.
couldn't possibly let this go on as a trier effect. I hear that feedback. And then it happens. She just lets it go on. Well, that's kind of what we're talking about in another case that Lana's dealing with. And it's like, this is so obviously wrong, right? But because it's a well-oiled machine to make money, they just keep it going and the corruption keeps going. So it's a little disgusting.
It's totally disgusting. It's totally disgusting that you like. I also think that certain things just. How do you put a time limit on somebody to effectively cross-examine somebody?
You take a case that has spanned well over 2.5 years.
Well, even what's happening with Karen Reed, like when someone's like, well, can you do that in 10 minutes? Can you do that in 5 minutes? It's like, it depends on their answers. If you're going to be evasive as fuck, then no, it's not. If the witness is going to be evasive as fuck, Your Honor, then no, I can't ask the questions because I have to go into other questions that I wasn't planning on because that evasive fuck wants to say I don't recall. Once you say I don't recall, I either have to refresh your recollection or I'm fucked. Oh, you don't recall moving on that? No. That's bad. Turn on your mic.
Back to session ABC.
All right, I appreciate the court personnel waiting so that we could have that voir dire. It was helpful. All right, so my rulings are very similar that they were this morning. So first of all, on the Darbert analysis regarding Dr. LaPasada being able to testify as to the dog bite wounds, I find that she is not qualified. I'm not satisfied that the Darbert requirements have been made. Specifically,
What?
not just the experience, but the reliability of the methodology she used and how it was applied. So based on that, she cannot testify to the dog wounds. And I want to take a minute to differentiate this testimony with Dr. Russell's. I found that Dr. Russell was an expert qualified to testify as to dog bite wounds, mainly from her experience in the ER, coupled with her being an ME. Dr. Laposada does not have that experience. I found that Dr. Russell's methodology was reasonable and was sufficient, and I found that it was appropriately applied. Remember that Dr. Russell was published in the area here. So regarding pages 10 and 11, all of the text on Dr. Laposada's
Press
report
pause.
on pages 10
Press
and
pause.
11 that start with the injuries on Mr. O'Keefe's right arm.
No way. You guys realize that this would affect somebody's career. Like, you guys have seen how this has went. When they want to ask questions down the road on that for her, Dr. Laposado, have you ever not been honored as an expert in blah, 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 blah? Well, weren't you deemed not an expert? Do you understand the implications that Bev just fucking did to her?
100%.
Are you out of your
100%.
fucking mind, Bev? This is the type of shit that's insanity. Is that Bev thinks that she has Bev, who are you? But yet, do you understand that Marie Russell, and I love her to death, but she was sucking at the bits to just talk to Dr. Laposada because she's just so,
Exactly. Oh my God.
oh my God, she's like the bee's knees.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what is just, wow. You bust your ass your whole life. You do everything right. Dr. Laposado is an amazing, I just don't even have words, but I have to at least speak on it. That is what is crazy. And Bev to like just come out and think that she can say this, and then down the road for you to, and she's putting a blemish on basically her record. Go ahead, press play. Fuck him.
AJ just nailed everything in that voir dire as to why she should be allowed to be an expert on this. And Bev is outside her right mind.
Are excluded. Now, moving on to the testimony regarding not being consistent with a motor vehicle strike, I find that Dr. Laposada's opinion on these not being the result of a motor vehicle collision exceed what is within her scope of expertise in some regards, not in all.
Oh my
In some
God.
regards, significantly, like I said this morning. So on page 17, the first sentence is in. The second sentence, tail lights are typically made of durable polycarbonate or acrylic plastic. That is out. I know the
Oh my
Commonwealth objected to, but I'm letting in. Mr. O'Keefe's patterned injuries on his right arm do not correspond to injuries that could have been produced by irregular fractured plastic pieces impacting the arm. She cannot say tail light, but she can say that based on her experience. His arm had no tissue bruising from impact. That also comes in. And the next sentence, neither did his skin show any array of irregular, unpredictable, randomly scattered cuts and scrapes at various angles and depths. That's within her realm of expertise as a medical examiner. The next page, though, I may have said this morning that first sentence, importantly, in review of that, in review of the Tompkins case, that first sentence stays out because to me, it seems like that sentence depends on a biomechanical analysis, factors such as speed and force and the position of Mr. O'Keefe. So that's, oh, I'm sorry, page 18, the next page regarding the same subject matter. And portion of the next sentence is also out. This results in bruising or bleeding under the skin. That's out. But Dr. Laposada can testify that Mr. O'Keefe had no bruising on his arms or torso. And that's it for that sentence. In particular, Mr. O'Keefe did not have bruises on his legs as shown by dissection of leg tissue and muscle at autopsy. That's it for that. And the conclusions are problematic to the extent that is consistent with this ruling and what we discussed on Friday. So that's it. That was just the text of her report. I have not begun to go through all of there's no PowerPoint with this, Mr. Jackson, right?
There is no PowerPoint.
All right. Do you intend on displaying any of these photographs?
I'm sorry?
Do you intend on displaying any of the photographs that are in her report?
Yes. I have to go through it now with the course.
All right, so you likely not get to that today. We've done important work, but we've wasted an awful lot of the jurors' time today. So I want to bring them in and,
My suggestion, we have to finish it anyways.
right, we're going to do that now. So that'll give you an opportunity to pull your thoughts together.
Right. And
Fuck you, Bev.
My intention, I will go through her position. That will take me a good amount of time. I will go through the part of her initial analysis that will not include any of the photos, but I may need overnight to actually go through the court's ruling. It's very specific, and I want to be as
Okay, so let
that as possible.
let me know what you intend to put in. All right, and there's a lot of text describing the photos that is out, right? It's just hearsay.
I mean, we've had Dr. Welch's PowerPoint.
That was not objected to. There's a big difference. So,
Bev
so
is
let's
disgusting.
we'll
piece of
we'll
shit.
deal with this tomorrow with the photographs tomorrow.
I just want to let the court know, I'm not wasting the court's time.
Okay, thank you. And we're bringing the jurors in. Did the Commonwealth want to respond in any way? Okay.
No, we just love it, Bev. We'll just lick your ass.
There's a motion on Dr. Rentschler. We will give that, I haven't read it yet. We'll give that no more than 5 minutes tomorrow morning.
Oh my
each
God,
side.
no more than
The-
5
this
minutes to
jury,
hear
You
it.
can tell just by looking at this jury, they're fed up. So,
That's because of you, Bev.
They're fed up with the Commonwealth's case.
With regards to the court's ruling, I do want the
Who does she think she is?
that is obviously it's going to be
I can't wait to see her at fucking 4th of July celebration.
make for the record a quick comment. The Commonwealth waited until June 5th to even bring this up, to file a motion regarding Dr. Papasada.
They're fed up with Hank lying.
Discovery was done in March 6th, 2025. That's document number 45.
yeah.
And the Commonwealth was ordered to file whatever motions they wanted to, whatever motions in limine they thought were appropriate by March 7th. And they did not do that. They were supposed to be heard on March 18th.
Okay, so the jurors are coming in. We're going to mark the report and the CV for identification.
I just need to know when I can make it.
You just made it.
I made it ish. I wasn't
Okay.
going to run it myself.
Okay.
But the point is,
Go ahead, real quick.
the Commonwealth has not explained the delay
So,
in making this motion. They have, and we're playing by the same rules, Judge.
so the basis of my ruling was not late disclosure. Okay?
What?
Late disclosure, disclosure. Commonwealth says they're part.
Not late disclosure. They were objecting. They had since March to object. They blew the motion in limine time, and then they come in just before Dr.
All right.
Papasada testifies, and now they're sort of sandbagging this and getting court moves against us. So I want to make sure that the record is imminently clear about it.
Very clear. Mr. Brennan, do you want to respond real quickly?
Your Honor, we can always object even during the proffering of testimony. There's no foundation. It's a foundational issue.
And that's consistent with what my rulings were when I allowed other witnesses to testify that the defense could object if the foundation weren't properly laid. So, bring them in, please.
Oh my God. True story. True story. Pause it for 1 second. Oh my God. You know exactly what I'm going to say, Bells. Oh my God. So check this out, guys. I objected like 7 times on different occasions to, hey, can we lay some foundation here? Objection, objection, foundation, foundational objection. Do you know what the freaking judge said? What
Let
do you
them
mean?
guess. Let them guess.
Oh, okay. Guess what the judge said. Guess
Well,
what the
just
judge
think
said.
about it for 2 seconds. What would a judge say when you're like, objection, foundation?
Objection, foundation. Objection, foundational. Objection, foundation. Objection,
Okay.
objection, foundation.
Tell them now, LO.
I'll let him answer if I'm going to let him, I'll let him answer.
You will? Okay. Besides sustained and overruled, what would a judge say when someone is standing up and saying, objection, I'd like some foundation laid. Objection to foundation. What do you guys think this judge said to Lana? She's pro se.
I said, objection. I object to this line of questioning, object to all of this based on relevancy, but then I also object based on foundation. Can we lay some foundation here? Can we get some dates? What is the date to that? Objection, foundation.
Aha, we have a winner. It's pretty close, Annie Ruler.
Annie Ruler was good there. Annie, this fucking broad said, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean foundation? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean foundation? What do you mean? What do you mean foundational? What do you mean on your objection foundation?
Lawyer
Okay, go ahead. I said, what? What's foundation? Are you kidding me?
Court is in session. Please be seated.
Jurors, you have been extraordinarily patient with us today. We're going to go straight through until 4 o'clock, and we're going to make every effort to not leave you waiting out there as long as we did today. All right, Ms. Giannetti, is your witness ready? All right, Mr. Tedman, whenever you're ready, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rona. Sir, before the lunch break, you had identified 3 entrances to the front of 34 Fairview, leaving aside the 2 garage car doors. Do you recall that?
Yes.
May I have that last exhibit displayed, please? Not that one, the one that we discussed right before court. There it is. Maybe zoom in on that a little. Okay. What do you see on the screen at this point, sir?
I see the 2 rightmost entrances to the house, excluding the main front door.
Okay, which would be obviously to the left
To
of
the
this
left.
photo, particularly with regard to the 3rd entrance, the one in red. Could you describe that?
Yes, so it's if you're facing the house from the street, you're looking towards the west. So that door goes directly into the garage facing north.
Okay, so basically from the street, you don't have to enter the house, you can go into the garage directly.
That is directly into the garage, yes.
All right, and as we're looking at the house from this point, are we looking at it from the vantage point of Fairview Road?
Yes,
And that is a westerly direction toward the house, sir?
correct.
In the course of doing your further work that you were asked to do in this case, did you peer inside the garage?
Yes, I did.
Did you see concrete steps and a ridge there and a hard concrete floor?
Yes.
Sustained. Jurors, disregard that answer.
You mentioned that you were asked to do some measurements. Can you describe what you were asked to do for the jury?
Yes, I was asked to measure from basically the mailbox area of the driveway to the various entrances to the house.
Did you take those measurements?
I did.
Okay, if I'd like to take them one at a time. First, did you measure from the end of the driveway next to the mailbox all the way to the main front door, which is not depicted on this photo?
Yes, I did.
How did you measure it?
I used my wheeled measuring device, and I walked directly across the lawn to the front door, well, to the bottom of the front steps, and then used it to go up the front steps straight to the door.
And what was the measurement, if you recall, from the mailbox area near the end of the driveway to the main front door on the left?
I believe it was 65 feet 9 inches, but I have notes if I
I think you got it right, sir.
Okay.
Next, did you measure from that same location near the street, the end of the driveway next to the mailbox, to the second front door, which is actually depicted in the exhibit that's on the screen?
I did.
And how did you measure that?
I walked along the edge of the driveway on the asphalt, right next to the grass, towards the house from the mailbox and the edge of the street, towards the house. I took a left onto the brick walkway, proceeded along that walkway, then took a right to the walkway that you can see right there, heading directly to the door, and went up onto the little decking area, and then those 2 steps directly to the doorstep.
Okay, so you walked essentially almost the whole length of the driveway
Yes,
before you took the left to get to where the steps start going to that second front door,
yes,
and then went up to the door itself.
yes.
Do you recall from your memory what the measurement was?
I believe it was 70 feet 1 inch.
And finally, did you measure from that same end of the driveway near the street next to the mailbox to the red side door, which is the pedestrian entrance into the garage directly?
I did.
How did you measure that?
I did the same thing, walking directly from where the mailbox and the driveway intersect, basically, all the way up the driveway, took the same left onto the red brick pathway, took a right to go towards the front door, went up the 1 step that you can see, and then instead of going up the next 2 steps, I took a right directly towards the garage entry door.
So essentially the same path of travel, it's just you didn't go straight into the second front door. You took a right to go into the pedestrian entrance to the garage.
Correct.
And what was the measurement that you discovered having done that?
I believe it was 78 feet 3 inches.
Now, finally, could we have displayed the map of Cedar Crest, Fairview, and Chapman? There it is. Sir, are you able to see the street names from where you are? And if
Yes.
not, could we have the top street magnified so that the witness can see it? Okay, you see that?
I do.
What do you see that to be?
Cedar Crest Road.
Okay, if we could have the connecting street where the, that's it.
Fairview Road.
All right, and finally, the one down the bottom?
Chapman Street.
Okay, if we can get the whole map back up. Having seen those 3 street names, does that orient you as to what this is a map of?
It does.
And what is that?
This is the surrounding area of 34 Fairview Road, the neighborhood, basically.
Okay, and it includes the 2 connecting streets on either end?
Correct.
Does the red dot symbolize anything for you?
It looks to be where 34 Fairview Road is located.
Okay, and if you're on Fairview Road to the right of that red dot as it exists on that exhibit, and you're looking toward Fairview Road, what direction would you be facing?
It'd be facing west.
If I may have a moment to...
Okay.
Further questions? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Back at it.
You had a wheel to measure?
Wheel.
So there's like a tape measure, and when you wheel it out, it gives a straight line?
No, it's two wheels with a meter in between them, and you roll it out in front of you.
I see. Your first measurement was from the driveway to the front door,
To the main front door to the far left, yes.
and that was about 63 feet?
I believe it was 65 feet, something like that. I have
65?
my notes, yes.
So suffice to say, if you were to leave the front door and come back to that spot, it would be an additional 65 feet back, right?
Yes,
The second measurement was from the bottom of the driveway to the middle door on the side?
yeah, the second front door, yes.
Did you say that was about 70 feet?
It was, yes.
Okay. And again, if you were to come back, that would be an additional 70 feet?
It would.
And the last one was the door near the garage. Did you say that was further, around 80 feet?
78 feet, 3 inches, I believe.
Except one way,
Correct,
and back is another 78 feet.
correct.
When you measured these, was it from the asphalt of the driveway or to the left of the mailbox as you're looking at Fairview?
It was to the right of the mailbox on the asphalt, as close to the mailbox as I could get.
Did you happen to take any measurements from the flagpole to the front door as far as distance?
I did.
And what was that?
I do not have the exact measurements. I'm not sure.
Do you have it in a report that you could
I
look
don't.
at?
I don't. No, not with me.
How about the flagpole to the middle door on the side? Did you take any measurements of that?
I'm not sure I took that one.
How about the flagpole to the furthest away door, which would be the door next to the garage? Did you take any measurements of that?
I think I took a direct measurement to that, yes.
Right, and what was that number?
I don't know.
Do you have a report you can share with us?
I
of that
don't.
number?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did you ever measure if you were at the flagpole area, how long it would take to walk up the street? Or how far it would be to walk up the street, up the driveway to any of those doors? Did you ever measure it that way?
I did.
And what was the distance if you were going to start at the flagpole, walk up the street, up the driveway, down the walkway to the front door?
I'm not sure that distance. Not positive the distance.
Was it over 80 feet?
It was.
And if you did the same route up the street, up the driveway, to the middle door, would you agree that would be well over 80 feet as well?
Can you repeat the question? How?
Sure, from the measure from the flagpole, up the street, up the driveway, to the middle door, that would be well over 80 feet.
Yes.
Same to the door next to the garage.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, you are all set, sir. Thank you very much.
Laying that foundation for my boy, Garrett Ellington.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would task the court to ask Dr. Elizabeth Laposado to join us.
Okay.
Ooh, Laposado. Alan Jackson going to handle Laposado. I cannot believe that they are not going to show the fucking shoe and that it wasn't there. You gotta be shitting me. Like, I'm just, if the defense does not show that shoe and then it wasn't there earlier, I'm sorry, but like, that's just nuts.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give to the court and jury in the case now and hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
A bit about your college. Did you mention Bucknell University? Your Bachelor of Science degree?
I think I did, yes.
At some point after you graduated from the University of Maryland School of Medicine, did you complete any residencies?
Yes, I did my residency at, excuse me, at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore in anatomic pathology.
Forensic pathology is different from anatomic pathology, correct?
Yes,
Did you also do any kind of residency in forensic pathology?
yes, I did a fellowship in forensic pathology.
And what is the difference between, if you can sort of take us through that little by little, what is the difference between forensic pathology and anatomic pathology?
Anatomic pathology is sort of hospital-based pathology where we understand diseases of patients who are in the hospital and try to make clinical pathologic correlations to see if their diagnoses were correct, if the laboratory tests actually showed what we find at postmortem. And then forensic pathology deals more with understanding why the body stops functioning at a particular APOSA.
And again, if you were to come back, that would be an addition.
Can you summarize your professional background?
Certainly, I graduated in 1975 from Bucknell University with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. I went to University of Maryland School of Medicine, where I graduated in 1979 with a Doctor of Medicine. I did my internship and fellowship at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, where I studied anatomic pathology, which is the study of the diseases of the body. I then did my subspecialty fellowship in St. Louis in forensic pathology, which is understanding causes of death and injuries to the body.
Currently, are you a professor?
Yes, I am.
And tell us where you work.
I own my own independent consulting practice, and I'm also an associate professor at Brown University School of Medicine.
How long have you taught at Brown University School of Medicine?
Since 1993.
And how long have you been a clinical associate professor of pathology either at Brown or before that?
Oh, gee, then that would have been since at least in the late 80s. I've been associate professors at the universities and medical schools where I've worked.
Doctor, at Brown University, let's take Brown first. What do you teach there?
I teach the second-year medical students. I teach a lecture in diseases of the heart, cardiomyopathy, and myocarditis. And I've been asked to give some specialized lectures in toxicology and forensic pathology.
Are you responsible for training medical students in the field of forensic pathology?
When I was a chief medical examiner, yes, we would have medical students, residents, come into the office so they could learn about what we do to understand cause and circumstances of death.
When you first got your medical license, did you then undertake to get certain board certifications and the like?
Yes.
Before we get to those board certifications, did you begin a practice in forensic pathology in some way or another?
After I finished my medical school and my anatomic fellowships and forensic pathology fellowships, then I was working in medical examiners' offices where I was examining deceased people to understand how they died.
When you get a medical license, is that statewide or is it nationwide?
Usually you get a state medical license.
And do you hold a state medical license?
Yes.
How many?
I have an active medical license in Rhode Island where I have my consulting practice, and I have inactive license in Maryland, Delaware, Missouri, Pennsylvania.
And you've been previously, at least before they were inactive, you were licensed in all 5 of those states?
Yes.
You already told us a little bit about your college. Did you mention Bucknell University? Your Bachelor of Science degree?
I think I did, yes.
At some point after you graduated from the University of Maryland School of Medicine, did you complete any residencies?
Yes, I did my residency at, excuse me, at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore in anatomic pathology.
Forensic pathology is different from anatomic pathology, correct?
Yes.
Did you also do any kind of residency in forensic pathology?
Yes, I did a fellowship in forensic pathology.
And what is the difference between, if you can sort of take us through that little by little, what is the difference between forensic pathology and anatomic pathology?
Anatomic pathology is sort of hospital-based pathology where we understand diseases of patients who are in the hospital and try to make clinical pathologic correlations to see if their diagnoses were correct, if the laboratory tests actually showed what we find at postmortem. And then forensic pathology deals more with understanding why the body stops functioning at a particular time. So that would be cause of death. and that can be sudden unexpected death or death due to violence.
And in forensic pathology, is that often associated with testimony in court cases that may deal with either on the civil side or the criminal side, coming in and testifying about things like cause of death and manner of death?
Yes.
What types of cases did you work on during your forensic pathology residency?
Oh, sudden unexpected natural death, gunshot wounds, knife wounds, sudden infant deaths, blunt force trauma, skeletonized remains, decomposed bodies, strangulation, the whole gamut of ways people can die unnaturally.
And what type, to contrast that, what types of cases did you work on during your anatomic pathology residency?
There you're mainly dealing with natural diseases and understanding heart disease or how somebody gets pneumonia, or looking at the brain to understand if a stroke was present. And that's especially important then to the doctors who are treating those patients, that they can see if the diagnostic tests were appropriate or if their treatments worked.
You mentioned fellowship a little earlier in your testimony. What is a fellowship?
A fellowship is after you've done your internship and residency. A fellowship is more specialized training, and I did that in forensic pathology.
So that answers my next question. You do hold a postgraduate fellowship position, correct?
Yes, yes.
And that was in forensic pathology specifically?
I'm board certified in anatomic and forensic pathology.
Were you a research associate at the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine at University of Pennsylvania School of Law?
Yes.
I'm sorry, School of Medicine?
Yes.
Old habits. What about postdoctoral research fellow? Were you ever a postdoctoral research fellow?
Yes, I did. I had an NIH research grant where I worked on, excuse me, how alcohol affects the heart.
Where was that?
That was at St. Louis University, and then when I was on staff at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia.
What about postdoctoral research fellow at dealing with the cardiovascular division of the Department of Medicine at Washington University?
Yes, that's where I did research responsible for all unexpected, unnatural deaths or deaths that involve.
Starting when and ending when?
Starting in 1993 and ending in 2005.
As the chief medical examiner for Rhode Island, did you ever have the responsibility to work on any mass disaster cases?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that. If you could start with the Egypt Air issue.
Yes. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. In 1999, the Egypt Air 990 took off from New York airport, and it crashed off the coast of Massachusetts, and 2,065 passengers died. And because of the force of the airplane going into the water, all the bodies were fragmented. So all the fragments were brought to my medical examiner's office. They actually vacuumed the ocean floor, and we had 2,600 some fragmented remains from that airplane crash, and that involved working with FBI, TSA to identify those individuals and understand exactly why they died.
What was your role and the role of your staff that you supervised in dealing with those other government agencies, the FBI, the NTSA, other entities, in terms of the fatalities that you did review as a medical examiner or the chief medical examiner of Rhode Island?
Well, I dealt with families from around the globe who had relatives on that flight, and then the FBI was looking into what may have caused the crash. The Egyptian government, who owned the airplane, was also there and interested in understanding what happened. And we were also, tasked with identifying everybody who was on the plane and to see if that matched the passenger manifest list. So were there people on the plane who shouldn't have been on the plane? So that sort of thing.
In terms of matching that manifest, were you the head of the department for the medical examiner's office that was responsible for trying to figure out who was on the plane and match those remains with the individuals that were on the manifest.
Yes, we made the positive forensic identifications and returned the fragmented human remains to their families.
Doctor, did you also deal with the tragic Station nightclub fire?
Yes.
In what capacity did you deal with that?
Again, this was a nightclub that burned down. It burned down very rapidly with a very hot fire, and that was in Rhode Island, and there were 100 fatalities from that. So those come to the medical examiner's office. I had my investigator at the scene throughout that time of recovering the bodies, and I was charged with determining the identity and the cause of death.
Were you successful, or your staff successful, in determining the identity of most of those individuals who perished?
Yes, all of them. We worked around the clock for 3 days to get that done.
And you were the head of that task
I
task
was.
force. Before you became the chief medical examiner in Rhode Island, did you previously work as a medical examiner under somebody else?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was your first post as a assistant medical examiner?
My first post was after I did my fellowship training in St. Louis, Missouri. I was an assistant medical examiner for the city of St. Louis.
Were you ever an assistant medical examiner in Philadelphia?
Yes, so after St. Louis, I moved to Philadelphia, where I was on staff at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, and I ran the autopsy service there at the hospital, and I was also an assistant medical examiner for the city of Philadelphia. After that, I was an assistant medical examiner for the state of Delaware, and then I came to Rhode Island as I was chosen to be chief.
Dr. La Posada, can we put dates on that? Assistant medical examiner in St. Louis, from when to when? Do you remember?
Oh my, let's see. May I look at my CV?
Sure, with the court's permission.
Yes.
Okay. That's from 1983 to 85. I was an assistant medical examiner for the city of St. Louis. Then in 87 to 91, I was the assistant medical examiner for the city of Philadelphia. 91 to 93, assistant medical examiner for the state of Delaware. And then 1993 to 2005, I was chief medical examiner for the state of Rhode Island.
Thank you for that. Dr. La Posada, have you held any faculty positions as in the field of forensic pathology that qualify you as an expert in this case?
Yes, every medical examiner's office I worked in, I also had faculty appointments to teach medical students and pathology residents. So I had faculty appointments at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and in Rhode Island.
Let's talk about those one at a time.
Medical legal autopsy
Are you
through there anymore.
Were you
I have the pathology residents.
a teach or lecture on those issues?
Yes, yes, I give lectures.
Department of Anatomy and Neurology, is that a division of the graduate school? Director in medical legal death investigation from 2006 to 2013, GMS from 2012 to
The graduate medical sciences. The graduate medical sciences.
correct.
Okay, yeah, I would review and be on the board to examine projects that the students were doing to get a master's degree.
Were you also assistant professor in the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine at University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine?
Yes,
Without going into every single class that you taught, did you teach from 1987 to 1991, attending staff medical pathology?
yes.
What is that? Just a general outline of what that teaching course was.
That's when I was at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. I ran the autopsy service, so I taught medical students and pathology residents about autopsy practice.
I want to ask you sort of broadly, can you describe your major teaching and clinical responsibilities when you were at University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, in the field of forensic pathology? What were your main clinical and teaching positions?
Well, I ran the autopsy service there, so I taught the medical residents and medical students autopsy pathology, and I was also a assistant medical examiner there, so I taught and started the forensic fellowship in forensic pathology.
Have you ever been qualified as an expert witness in forensic and anatomic pathology in state and federal courts?
Yes.
How many times would you say you've qualified as an expert?
Over 40 years, maybe several hundred.
How about in Massachusetts?
That includes all of them.
Okay. Have you ever qualified? Let me list a couple of states. In Massachusetts,
Yes,
California,
yes,
Connecticut,
yes,
Delaware,
yes,
Florida,
yes,
Illinois,
yes,
Maryland,
yes,
Minnesota,
yes,
Missouri,
yes,
New York,
yes,
Pennsylvania,
yes,
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, yes.
Have I left anything out? That's
Did
just
you
about
say
all of them.
Massachusetts?
I did.
Okay, then
We
you're
started with
fine.
Massachusetts.
Okay, you're fine.
What types of topics have you qualified to testify about as an expert forensic and anatomic pathologist?
Really, anything that has to do with circumstances and cause of death. So it doesn't really matter, like, what type of injury or a sudden unexpected death. Usually it involves examination, study of information from the scene, information from the autopsy, police and investigation and medical records, and we put that all together and figure out the circumstances as to how someone died and why their body stopped functioning. So that's the basis of forensic pathology.
Dr. Williams, excuse me for just a second. You're on a media for one brief.
Sidebar for what? Turn down for what? Look at Paul whispering in his mama's ear. Mom, I promise you I got you on this. I promise you it was the right thing to do. That's the thing, is that the jury will never know about any of this. Like, oh, they didn't allow this. You think somebody's gonna sit there and be like, oh, let me just go watch like the trial that I fucking was in? I just don't think that they will. The storms are coming on. So did he try to lay more foundation as to like allow certain questions now to be asked that she originally like ruled out? Like that was like, oh no, I'm not gonna allow this. So he's like, well, you limited my voir dire of her. So now that I actually got to completely voir dire her, are you gonna change your opinion on things? That's the question. That's what's going on right now. Like, you limited me asking her questions, and he said, is there anything else you would like me to ask her? Because you said that you didn't get to hear things, you fucking bitch. So now that I just did all that, do you change your position? That's what's happening right now. And I don't have a fucking law degree, but I guarantee you that's the fuck is happening right now. Because anybody with a brain. Just kidding, not everybody. Because lawyers are so prestigious. Dude, fuck that.
I came in on the end of this yelling frenzy. What are you yelling about? What's
Right
happening?
now, he's finding out if I just fucking, like, can she now testify to certain things that you ixnayed before? Because I didn't get to, like, I asked you what else you wanted to hear, you fucking dumb cunt. And now we hit on things. So are you going to let me allow her to testify to certain things? You fucking dumb bitch. That's what the fuck just happened right now. Alan Jackson's pointing over her. He's taking her and he's literally bending her over his knee and saying, are you satisfied? What can I do to satisfy you?
Oh, look that. Touch, lick your boots, bend over, lick them.
Step escort officer into that back room.
Okay, certainly.
And jurors, rather than send you downstairs and back up the stairs to come back in 5 minutes, I'm gonna sit here, you all can sit here, we're just gonna be in recess for 5 minutes while we sit.
Someone got to take a shit, Bev? That's what I thought. Dude, give me my fucking law degree already. Fuck. I love it. It's exactly what's happening. They don't think that her testimony should be limited. She's totally qualified. 100% qualified. And Alan Jackson's not selling for that shit. I'm not selling for your shit. We just voir dired her. You asked me like, hey, what else do you want to hear, Bev? And then she says, well, I'll let Mr. Brennan go ahead and da-da-da. I don't give a fuck with Mr. Brennan's gonna go ahead and da-da-da. I'm here to ask you, Bev, what else do you want? It's your decision, Bev. What more do you want to hear about her expertise to make you say, yeah, she's qualified? This is some bullshit, and Alan Jackson's not having it. He's like,
Alan's not putting up with anything.
No, and I love it, and that's exactly what you would do, and that's what I would do, and I'm not even a lawyer. I'd be like, all right, now that I got to basically he just took her through voir dire, okay? Talks about her background, talks about everything that she does, okay? Everything that he was ready for, that he prepped for. We're just gonna sit here, don't worry.
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Malpasada, you mentioned several topics about which you testified and qualified as an expert. Testified about it as an expert in several different states, several different courtrooms. Have you been qualified as an expert by those courts in the topics about which you just discussed?
Yes.
Do you hold any specialty certifications in the field of forensic pathology?
Well, I'm board certified in forensic pathology.
What about the American Board of Pathology?
Yes, the American Board of Pathology puts forth examinations that are a 2-day examination in the various disciplines of pathology. And if you successfully complete those examinations, then you become a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology in whichever subspecialty you're in. And I became a diplomat in the subspecialty of anatomic and forensic pathology.
What about a certification in basic blood stain pattern analysis, the International Association of Identification?
Yes, I had a week-long course in understanding blood pattern analysis.
Can you tell us a little bit about the National Registry Emergency Medical Technician certification that you hold?
Yes, I took training to become an EMT.
Have you received a number of honors and awards in the field of forensic pathology?
I have.
What do those awards include?
May I look at my CV again? Sure. Thank you.
Like, exactly, who knows the fucking awards, man? You know how many awards I have? Don't even ask me about that. That was freshman of the year. Cameron, she was saying, look it up, bitch.
I had teaching awards from Brown University School of Medicine. I was featured in a book by Faces of Public Health as having run a good medical examiner's office. I was nominated for Woman of the Year in Rhode Island for my work as chief medical examiner and improving the office and handling those 2 mass disasters. I was honored by Victims' Rights and Services Awards because I've always been aware of the fact that as a forensic pathologist, I am the last doctor this person is going to have, so I try to help the family understand what happened. I was honored for my work in the mass disaster in Egypt Air 990 plane crash. Let's see. I was Outstanding Woman in Public Service for Providence, Rhode Island. I've gotten teaching awards from Brown University School of Medicine. I was elected to the Board of Trustees in the Delaware SIDS Foundation and the Philadelphia SIDS Foundation. And then we're back to my medical school.
If you could pull the microphone a little closer to your chin.
It's very hard because the chair doesn't push it enough.
Oh, it doesn't, the chair doesn't move.
Oh,
Okay.
I got it. I moved.
We'll make do.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. LaPosada. What is the American Academy of Forensic Sciences?
That's one of our medical associations that is specific to forensic sciences.
Have you ever held a chaired position there?
Yes.
What position was that?
I was voted into a fellowship position.
Were you the chairman of Forensic Science Research, the Forensic Science Research Committee? as well?
Yes.
What's the National Association of Medical Examiners?
It's also called NAME. It's another international association of forensic pathologists.
Were you a member of that organization?
Yes.
And at some point, did you get elected to the board of directors for that
Ye-
organization?
Yes,
And ultimately, did you become a fellow for that organization?
I did.
What is the American Society of Clinical Pathologists?
That's a society that is for people who practice anatomic pathology and understand how to interpret laboratory results and biopsies.
Did you become a fellow in 1991 until present for that organization?
Yes.
What's the difference between a member and a fellow?
A member is a lower level, and then you can be promoted to fellow if the board of directors feels that you've contributed in your field.
And were you associated with the College of American Pathologists?
Yes,
Are you a fellow there as well?
yes,
What about the World Association for Medical Law?
yes,
What about the American Association for Clinical Chemistry?
yes, I'm a member.
Rhode Island Medical Women's Association, what is that?
Well, it's basically what it says. It's women doctors in Rhode Island.
Were you elected to the board of directors for that organization?
Yes,
Ultimately, were you elected as the president of that organization?
I was.
Rhode Island Medical Society, what is that?
It's an organization of doctors who practice in Rhode Island.
Are you a council member there?
Yes,
And what about the Massachusetts Medical Legal Society?
yes, I was a member there. They have disbanded since.
It doesn't exist anymore?
No,
When it was up and running, you were a member in good standing?
yes,
Good, good. Pennsylvania Association of Pathologists, what about that?
yes. When I practiced in Pennsylvania, I was a member of that organization.
Did you, in addition to be a member there, did you also hold a chaired position? Were you the chairman for the Committee on Forensic Pathology?
Yes,
Have you served on any editorial boards of any scholarly journals or
Yes.
publications? Tell me
Yes.
about that.
I've reviewed articles submitted for the Journal of Forensic Sciences and the National Association of Medical Examiner Journals.
Did you also hold an editorial position for the American Journal of Forensic Medicine and Pathology?
Yes,
Is that one of the medical journals that is used throughout the country by other medical professionals, other medical examiners?
yes,
It's a resource
yes,
and a text.
correct.
Have you authored any peer-reviewed publications in the field of forensic pathology?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us about some of those publications?
Let's see if I got here. Yeah, I've written chapters in textbooks about medical legal death investigation and forensic pathology. I've published articles involving alcohol metabolism, some drugs, cocaine. Let's see. Alcohol metabolism in the heart, I mentioned. Let's see. And so I published 22 papers, and I've written several chapters.
Take that publication, Bev, and
You
show
already
your
said that you're
titties.
board certified, double board certified in anatomic and forensic pathology. Is that correct?
Yes,
Now that you've gone through your education, training, background, publications, teaching positions, and chairs that you've held, I want to ask you a really simple question.
Simple.
What does a forensic pathologist do?
Yeah. We are the last doctor that the dead person has, and we figure out what happened to the body to cause their death. And we sign the death certificate that says how the body came to die and also indicates the circumstances under which the death occurred.
Our medical examiner is also tasked with determining both manner and cause, not just one or the other.
Both, yes.
What is the manner of death and how is it distinguished from the cause of death?
The cause of death is what happens to the body to cause it to stop functioning. And the manner of death refers to circumstances under which the death occurred. So there's hundreds of thousands of causes of death or why the body stops functioning, but there's only a few manners of death, which would be natural, accident, suicide, homicide, or undetermined.
Those 5 main categories of manner of death, is that the responsibility or one of the responsibilities of a forensic medical examiner to determine that the death fits into one of those 5 categories?
Correct.
What does it mean when the death is deemed undetermined?
Now, when the manner of death is undetermined, that means at the time the death certificate was signed, there was not enough information to put it into either accident, natural suicide, or homicide. So at the time the death certificate was signed, there was not enough information to put it into one of those other categories. It doesn't mean that if more investigation takes place, then you might be able to put it in one of those other categories.
If a manner of death is deemed at a particular time undetermined, at that time, it's because it lacks sufficient additional information. Is that correct?
Oh, that's because it's leading. Just ask her why.
What types of information does a medical examiner, a forensic pathologist consider in making these determinations between natural, accident, homicide, suicide, undetermined?
Well, first you have the findings from the examination of the body. So that's sort of a starting place to see what happened to the body. Then you need to also look at the scene investigation. You need to look at any police reports and witness statements, and also medical history of the deceased. And using those 4 sources of information, and using your training and experience, you can either say this is a natural death, this is a self-inflicted death, it's a suicide, it's an accidental death, it's a homicide, or if all that information doesn't allow you to put to a reasonable degree of medical certainty into any one of those categories, then you have to leave the manner undetermined. And if more information becomes available later, then you can change that death certificate.
What if no more information comes available later?
It just stays as undetermined. There are cases where there's just not enough information to put it in one of those other categories.
Without getting into what they may be, did you reach any opinions and conclusions in connection with this case?
Yes.
What materials and information did you consider in reaching your opinions and conclusions in this particular case?
Yes. I have my list of materials I reviewed. I reviewed Mr. O'Keefe's autopsy report, the report of the examination of his brain, the toxicology report, and the entire medical examiner file. I studied 100 and some autopsy photos, including photographs of the brain, and then there were 70 other photographs at autopsy taken by a state trooper who was at the examination. I reviewed Mr. O'Keefe's medical records from Good Samaritan Medical Center and the EMS run sheet. I reviewed photographs of Mr. O'Keefe's clothes that were taken at the crime lab. I reviewed photographs of pieces of tail light, hard plastic, clear, black, red. I reviewed photographs of the outside of Karen Reed's SUV. I reviewed the Canton Police Department incident report on the death. I reviewed 100 and some photographs taken by Canton Police of the outside of the house at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. I reviewed some photographs taken by the real estate agent who was going to sell the house of the inside.
In total, putting them in categories, did you review the forensic
Oh, hot
autopsy?
damn.
Yes,
Did you review
He reviewed
all of
the
the
fucking
files
pictures
associated with the medical examiner's
sell
office
them,
in this
to
particular
sell-
case related to the autopsy of John O'Keefe?
yes,
Did you review the scene investigation through police reports and other things?
yes,
Photographs as well?
yes,
Did you review the police reports that were associated with the initial investigation in this case as well as follow-ups?
yes.
Did you review witness statements and things of that sort?
Yes, if they were included in the police report.
That was my next question. Those witness statements would be included in the police reports that you otherwise reviewed, correct?
Yes,
What about Mr. O'Keefe's medical history as much as you had of it?
yes, I reviewed his medical history.
And what about hospital records?
His medical history was in the hospital records.
Understood. What method did you use or methodology did you use in forming the opinion that we'll get to in just a few minutes?
Well, in order to arrive at a conclusion of how somebody dies and what the cause of death is, we have to put all our facts out, and then we say, how could these facts have come to be? So it's called like a differential diagnosis. So like if you go to your doctor and you have a white blood cell count, then the doctor would say, well, how many ways do you get this white blood cell count? So that's a differential diagnosis, and then you go from that list and pare it down by getting more data till you come to one final diagnosis. So that's the process of determining how somebody dies and the circumstance around it.
Is it fair to say that you have a pretty significant background, training, and experience regarding coming to the conclusion of cause and manner of death?
40 plus years.
And how many autopsies in total?
Well, myself, I've probably done over 3,000, and then I have observed and reviewed maybe 7,000 more.
So that's in total over 10,000 autopsies if you were to estimate over 40 years?
Probably.
In addition to just autopsies, how many death investigations, separate and apart from autopsies, have you been involved with?
Well, the autopsy usually has a corresponding death investigation with it.
Do you have experience in examining and identifying wounds, not necessarily the cause and manner of death, but wounds that are associated with someone on whom you're performing an autopsy or you're supervising an autopsy?
Yes, and looking at the injuries on the body and understanding what caused them is a huge part of forensic pathology.
Have you ever conducted or overseen any autopsies of individuals involved in vehicle-pedestrian collisions?
Yes,
How many times, if you had to estimate?
no, hundreds.
100 or hundreds?
Hundreds.
When was it that you first started training on the issue of wound pattern recognition that helps assist you with coming to your conclusions, whether it be auto pedestrian incidents or otherwise?
Yeah, well, understanding wound patterns and injuries is a big part of forensic pathology because we want to identify what caused a particular pattern. So understanding that whole complex bag of injuries begins when you start your forensic pathology training, which was when I started back in '81.
In addition to the cause of death, which might be whatever, a gunshot, something, does the pathologist also undertake an examination of the rest of the body that's not so obvious, other wounds, etc., that might tell a more defined story?
Yes, we look at the entire body, we look at the clothing, we look at the outside of the body, then we do the internal examination in order to understand not only why the body stopped functioning, which is the cause of death, but also things that could have contributed to it or helped to understand the circumstances around how that death occurred.
When you say the body, you mentioned the clothing. Why is the clothing important? Is that part of the body for a forensic medical examiner?
Oh, yes, it is. You always have to look at the clothing because it has materials on it that may be important as to how injuries occurred. So it's every time you do an autopsy, you have to always make sure you have the clothing. Many times it would have been taken off at the hospital, but then I would always ask my staff, tell the police, we've got to get the clothes, have to look at the clothes.
What is a gross examination?
A gross examination is not actually like gross, grotesque, but it means like without microscopes. It means just looking with your naked eye.
Is it important to look at a body, a deceased person, when you're conducting an autopsy from head to toe?
Like your money before
for
taxes.
outside obvious wounds that you can see on the gross anatomy outside?
Oh, yes, and also to collect any trace evidence that may be present on the body.
Are forensic medical examiners trained to do that?
Oh, yes,
Are you trained to do that?
absolutely.
In addition to a gross examination on the outside of the body, is it also important to look on the inside of the body?
Yes,
Are there wounds and injuries that might be hidden by the dermis, for instance, the skin, that might not be so obvious on a gross examination of a body?
yes, you have to look inside the body.
And what's the mechanism of doing that?
Excuse me. We make surgical incisions in the body so we can examine the brain, the neck, all the organs in the chest, all the organs in the abdomen, and depending on the case, we may make incisions in the arms and legs to look for evidence of injuries.
What about x-rays? Are x-rays an important part of an examination in an autopsy?
Yes, they're
What-
usually done before the autopsy is started, and we look for changes in the bones or any foreign material that might be present in the body, like a bullet.
Dr. LaPosada, have you ever exercised wound pattern recognition in your position as a forensic pathologist? Or do you do it every time?
All the time.
Have you ever taught any courses or given lectures on wound identification and wound pattern recognition?
Yes, it's part of understanding blunt force trauma, sharp force trauma, gunshot wounds. They all make injury patterns on the body that the pathologist can then relate to what caused that injury.
With regard to the case that's before us, what injuries did you observe with regard to Mr. O'Keefe's head specifically?
I observed that he had evidence of blunt force trauma to the back of his head.
Are those injuries consistent with a particular type or pattern of patterned injury?
Yes.
Describe that for us, please.
There in the back of his head, a little bit to the right-hand side, was a horizontal tearing of the scalp, and that's called a laceration. And surrounding that were linear scrapes that were vertical in orientation. So that is an injury pattern. And then you have to think, well, what could cause that injury pattern? And so then you go from there.
Did you also, in addition to looking at, by the way, how did you make that assessment about the injury? Was it photographs?
Yes.
Is that a normal way for a forensic pathologist to make an assessment? Is that an acceptable methodology to make an assessment of a wound pattern by the use of anatomical photographs?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you done it before?
Oh, hundreds of times.
What is a coup contra coup injury?
Now, it's a very interesting, peculiar injury to the head. When you have a blow to the head, the blow can either be the stationary head and there's a blow to it, or you can have the head that's moving and gets the blow. So looking at a pattern of coup contra coup helps the forensic pathologist differentiate that. A coup contra coup injury examines the coup, which is where the impact occurred, and then we look at what's 180 degrees opposite that impact, and that's called the contra coup, or like opposite the coup. And that injury pattern helps us determine whether a person was just having a fixed head and somebody hit it, or whether the head was just standing and went down to the ground. The coup contra coup of a falling or being pushed backward has injury patterns where the impact occurred, but then there's also injury patterns 180 degrees opposite from that. And that happens because the brain is floating in cerebral spinal fluid, and when the head comes down, the brain is a little bit behind, so you get the bang on the back of the head, but then because the brain is floating, it hits the inside of the opposite. And so that makes the contra coup pattern. And that tells us that there's been a fall backwards and hitting the head.
Is that consistent, a coup contra, just in general, a coup contra coup injury, consistent with a linear acceleration of the head by a fall, an unbroken fall straight back?
Correct. There's also some angular force in that as well.
Understood. In order to determine whether or not Mr. O'Keefe suffered from a coup contra coup injury, can that be done by a gross examination, or does it have to be surgical?
We would look at, well, first we look at the outside, but then we have to look at injuries to the scalp, and we look at the skull, see where the skull fractures are, and in particular to look at the brain and see where the damage is to the brain. And there should, in a fall backwards, you have damage to the brain at the site of impact, but you also have damage to the brain 180 degrees opposite from that. And that tells you it's a fall backwards.
In the case before us, dealing with John O'Keefe, were you able to look at the scalp and the injuries associated with the scalp from a gross perspective?
Yes.
Were you also able to look at the skull and possible fractures that Mr. O'Keefe suffered on his skull?
Yes.
And what about the brain? Did you have evidence of a dissection such that you could see the brain and determine whether or not there was a coup contra coup injury associated with the brain?
Yes, I had a full examination of the brain available.
Were Mr. O'Keefe's head injuries consistent with a coup contra coup injury?
Yes.
Could you describe that, specifically his head injuries, to the jurors, please?
Well, as we say, he has a pattern head injury on the back of his scalp, where there is a tearing of the scalp, and then vertically above that, there is some little areas of scraping to the skin. So that tells me that Mr. O'Keefe went backwards onto something that had a little ridge, but it also had some irregularity to it to cause the different scrapes before you get to the tearing of the scalp. Then when we look at the skull, he had a massive skull fractures that originated, started in the back of his head. They came around to the front. They went under the base of his brain, under the skull, under the base of the brain, and it came into the front of the skull at the orbital plates and fractured that, and that caused some bleeding in his upper eyelids. When the brain was examined inside the brain, I could see that the brain had become swollen and parts of it had herniated or moved down the area where the spinal cord is, and that's called brainstem herniation, and that is why the brain stops functioning and why your body stops functioning when you have a severe head injury.
You indicated that the wound pattern suggested a ridge or ledged surface.
Yes.
Could you explain that in more detail, please?
Yes. So if I were looking at it, I would see the break in the scalp. Then I would see several sort of irregularly placed scrapes of the skin that kind of look like pencil marks. And so that means that something with granularity he hit first, then it moved up a little, broke the scalp, and then moved on a little bit above that.
Would you expect to see that if Mr. O'Keefe had fallen backward onto a perfectly flat surface?
No, it has to be a surface that has some small ridges in it to make those little vertical patterns.
Dr. LaPosada, what is ecchymosis?
Ecchymosis is a medical term for bruise.
Did you see any ecchymosis on Mr. O'Keefe that he suffered as a result of the coup contre coup injury to the back of his head?
He had a bruise on his brain at the back of the brain and at the front of the brain.
What would the outer let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
What would you see around his eyes regarding ecchymosis?
Yes, when you have, when the brain slaps forcefully against the base of the skull, the delicate bones above the eye break, and that's again the coup contre coup, where the brain slaps forward. And when those delicate bones are broken, there's bleeding, and that bleeding then goes right down into the upper eyelids. So it kind of looks like you have black eyes, but there's not been any punch to the face. It's only come from the skull fracture. That's sometimes called raccoon eyes, because you look like a little raccoon.
Did you see any skin injury to either one of Mr. O'Keefe's upper eyelids?
Yes, he had a small kind of slit-like defect horizontal on his right upper eyelid.
Would the ecchymosis on its own produce that type of injury, that laceration over his right eye?
No, the blood seeping down into his upper eyelids was from the skull fractures.
Was the laceration above his eyelid on the right side a separate injury altogether?
Yes, it was.
Based on your training experience, do you have an opinion as to whether or not what that eyelid laceration might be consistent with?
Some application of force which broke the skin.
Could that be from an object?
Possible.
Could it be from a fist?
Possible.
Sustained us to the floor, Mr. Jackson.
Give me some possibilities of what might cause that laceration above his right eyelid.
So it's not possibilities.
Give me, in your opinion, what you believe could have caused or produced the injury to the upper right eyelid.
So I'm going to see your sidebar here.
You know, Beth can shove her sidebar because this is an expert and she can opine.
But she's allowed to opine. He did what he did. He said, "Oh, give me some possibilities." That's why. Because he can't say possibilities. What's your expert opinion? And that's the issue. And then after he did all that, then Brennan wants to be a baby and go over there and see. Do you see how he's fucking laying it out, coaching her like that she's gonna be able to respond? Blah blah. It's the same thing that it's the same thing that Brennan did the whole time with every one of his experts from Aperture. Like, it's a joke. Like, how he is even gonna be bringing this up is a joke. He wants to say it's improper, and it's like he's leading her away, and then he just basically asked the question. Now she's just gonna repeat what he said.
Sidebars are a side hustle joke in this case.
Well, it would normally not be a sidebar, but like here they have to do their arguing. Normally, why doesn't the jury get to hear their argue back and forth on, you know, if you think about the Vallow case or whatever, like, objection, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, this is all out in the front. In Massachusetts over here, everything's a little fucking, it's like your side piece hoe, you know, secretive, and the jury can't hear. And then I think it's just like they're confused then as to like
what the objections are.
What not even is like, I don't care about knowing the language of an objection. I'm like a juror. They just, if as a lay person, you want to know the arguments. Like, you don't need to know the fancy language.
Here we go.
I want to hear the argument as to why you're not allowing it, or as to why you don't want it allowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
May I inquire?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. LaPosada, you just mentioned that the laceration above the right eyelid was consistent with the application of force, correct?
Correct.
You said it could come from some object, is that right?
Correct. It was fairly small. Could be, it's some sort of object.
Is it also consistent with a fist?
Sure, a fist is an object.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I hate to do this again, may we approach? This is probably a good time. We talked about it at sidebar.
Can you do anything to fill up the jury's time for the next 10 minutes, and then we can do this?
Not without what we discussed at sidebar.
It's 10 minutes.
A minute, okay? Both of you, come on up quickly.
Fill up the jury's time. Exactly, Mary P. Do you hear the language this hoe is using? Fill up the jury's time. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be filibustered. I don't want no fucking ads. I want premium YouTube, bitch. Like,
She said that we're going till 4 Eastern time today, and that's literally in 10 minutes.
but that's when we go
So-
to every day.
Right, but like,
Know that we're still on track. We will start. I'm gonna have you show up a half hour later than we normally do, because I expect to have 10 minutes with the lawyers, but we see sometimes with 10 minutes naturally in the course of any case can turn into. So I don't want you to be waiting as much as you've waited today. So if you take a half an hour more to get in here, whatever time we normally meet, the court officers will tell you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be a full day, and we will make every effort that it's filled with as much time here in court for you without sidebar conferences, without delays for us to have to.
She's doing way too much extra stuff with that.
Please do not discuss this case with
Like, she's
anyone.
trying to make it seem like it's the
Don't do any
defense's
independent
fault.
research or investigation into the case. If you happen
Like, it
to
doesn't
see
matter.
or read anything about the case,
100%. There's
You know what I
bias.
mean? Like, like what's happening here is it making the case go longer, and that's what she's trying to make it seem. And that's
Especially because AJ just asked for this, so she's making this a really big deal. So it looks like the defense is stepping on your time, jurors, and
yeah, and it's bullshit.
it's really bad. And unfortunately, psychologically, the judge has a lot of influence over the jury because it's almost like a Stockholm syndrome psychologically, because you're in there and she's the one that talks to you, feeds you more so than, is responsible for the bailiffs coming in and being nice to you. You want to appease her. So this bias is gross.
All right, so can you argue the Commonwealth's motion that I received this morning regarding Dr. Renshaw? Can we just do that now?
Are you kidding me?
Okay. No, that's fine. So we'll do that first thing at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The basis of the Commonwealth's, I've read the motion. I think the motion is clear. I'll hear you both tomorrow on it. All right. And you'll take care of the photographs, whatever photographs in her report you intend to put in.
The court hasn't made an order yet, but it seemed like the court was leaning toward not allowing any text on the photographs.
So that was just at a quick review. I had not I just read the content, the text part for the arguments for today, the arguments that were brought up today. I wasn't anticipating everything that we heard today on this, so it took a while. I did not get to look at specifically those. But to the extent that it's hearsay, whether it considers anything about dogs, clearly the dog, things that have been excluded have to come out of the photographs. All right.
The other photos deal with Patrick because
I think those have been shown, and I know the Wisniewski spots one is in evidence. The brain photographs are not coming in. The brain photographs that are different than what's already, the brain
What?
photographs in her report.
understood.
They're-
My biggest issue is the stomach lining is a bigger issue, and then some photographs in like the car is probably already in, things of that nature.
So tell me what you think is more of an
I
issue.
told you to
more of
use
what you
Brian
want. So
Jr..
I don't think the photographs on pages 4 or 5 come in. They don't add anything and they are extremely inflammatory.
I'm not looking to enter I'm not looking to get those.
All right, the photos on page 6, I believe, are already in evidence. So this is,
That's a Lucas machine.
right, just a textbook photo of a Lucas machine.
Correct.
Is there an objection to that, Mr. Brennan?
No, thank you.
Okay. So do you want all of that in, or just the photograph that's got color to it?
I'd actually
A
like
lupus machine?
She will explain what effect it has on the pancreas and stomach lining, and send it to the restricted spots for lack thereof.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Page 14, I think these are all in evidence otherwise, but I would like this particular, it's all in one spot.
Hold on one second. Okay, so 1 is in.
Okay.
Point number 1, that was in
I thought you
evidence.
said lupus.
And those 2 photographs. This is all for number 1. What was?
These are all close-ups of the same photo that is already in evidence.
Okay.
The right sleeve. So I'd like to use this because it speaks to her evaluation of these particular.
All right. How does she know it's blood staining on the fabric around the puncture? I'm just curious.
The blood stain on fabric around the puncture.
Yes.
I'm assuming she's getting that from the lab. They tested it.
Okay. I don't recall testimony regarding. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. I just don't recall it. So I just need to know
Super worried about that.
the source. All right.
Pull that out.
I have no objections to the photos. I do have an objection to the captions that go with the photos.
Okay. 13A and 13B.
Yes.
Yep. So 13B's out because of the dog bite.
For obvious reasons.
Let me see. All right. So if we keep out the blood staining, Mr. Brennan, is there an objection? Oh, puncture. What's the objection for the Commonwealth on 13A?
The opinion outward tearing, the opinion blood staining.
I have no issue with blood stain coming out. Outward tearing that is her opinion of what it looks like.
Okay, so we're going to have to see if she's qualified to do that, to testify to that. All right. What's the next page?
Page figure 3 in the report.
What page?
I don't have page number, Judge. Hold it up.
Page 5.
Page 5. It shows the cross-section of the brainstem.
That's what I was saying. I didn't see how that was coming in.
I certainly don't want the one in that is installed. Highly graphic. This is no more graphic than the supplement.
I disagree, but why does she have to use this photograph?
In furtherance of her determination of the coup injury, it supports that. I didn't put it in during that conversation.
Okay. There's no contention that coup contra coup is the cause of the brain injury, correct?
There is contention that the coup contra coup is. Yes, that is the contention. I don't think there's any controversy. Yeah, that's what the.
I thought that's what Dr. Wolf testified to, no?
Consistent. I don't think there's any disagreement.
Right. So I don't know why we need this photograph.
Because this shows, at least for her, this shows a bleeding of the brainstem, which talks about whether or not he's immediately incapacitated or not immediately incapacitated. which is
Okay.
an issue that Dr.
No, I understand that's an issue. Okay,
That is an issue.
yeah. Okay. What else, Mr. Jackson?
I think you've seen this, Your Honor, and I'm looking at figure 5. So there's these spots.
Yeah, I think that's already in evidence, isn't it?
It is, but not the. Mr. Leslie's saying it's only a chunk at this point, is that right?
I recall it was up, and I usually don't put up chalks, but, okay. Excuse me?
Mr. Alessi. Can you say it again? Thanks.
There's only one person who can talk at a time. I'm told it's Exhibit 164.
Yes, Your
Okay, so if it's marked as an exhibit, it means it's in evidence. I'm told I think it's an exhibit. We can find out. If it's an exhibit, everybody's fine with it. It's in.
What a smart ass.
64, I think. We'll know. Okay. What are those? All right, so we'll have to see what's in and what's not. I'm just trying to make the best use of the time here.
That's all you keep saying, but you don't make shit of shit.
So you're saying 9 in evidence or 9 on the form? 9A and B. Is there an objection to these, Mr. Brennan? Going to the Lucas compression device. On someone who's not John O'Keefe, and then this is on Mr. O'Keefe. Okay, so those will come in. Okay. All right. How much longer, and I'm not curbing you in any way, how much longer do you think? It seems like after the very lengthy qualifications, we're now moving along quicker with Dr. Lapasada.
I would guess I probably even finish under an hour.
Okay. Any idea, Mr. Brennan?
I guess it'll probably be about a half hour.
Okay. So we should finish with Dr. Lapasada's testimony
By lunch.
either by the morning break or shortly thereafter. So we'll discuss Dr. Rentschler's testimony, the objections to it. Why don't you just tell me briefly, Mr. Brennan, what the objections are?
Yeah, briefly.
There are a number
Please.
of slides that attempt to frame what the contested issues are of the case to improper opinions and assumes facts not evidence and improperly summarizes the Commonwealth position. There are a number of slides that provide credibility determinations about Dr. Welcher, and there are a number of slides that summarize opinions by this expert. So the improper summaries, the credibility determinations, trying to frame issues for the jury, none of that should be admissible as part of the PowerPoint. So we've articulated each slide and what our objections are. Each slide that we have any objections to, there's quite a few.
All right, so I'll look through that tonight, but the same restrictions will be, you don't criticize the person, it's the data, what you saw, what you didn't see. So if it's different than that in the slides, it's going to have to come out.
Understood. I'll take a closer look at it. I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah, no, I understand. I haven't read it either.
If we're done.
Okay.
4 documents. These are documents that are attended to Dr. Lapasada's opinion and conclusions concerning the dog bites.
Okay, so
I'd like to have those identified for the record.
yes.
Part of the record.
So we'll make that part of the record. I need a clean copy of Dr. Lapasada's report and her resume for the same purpose.
And the resume.
Yes.
I'll have those 2 by me.
Okay.
Just finally, the redacted version of the 34 Fairview post is not marked. Could I have that marked as an exhibit now?
Okay. There was no objection, Mr. Brennan?
This was never marked as an exhibit. That's all.
Why don't we do that right now?
Babs attended PJ parties.
Exhibit
Whatever.
224.
So I would like us to be as efficient for these jurors as possible tomorrow. I'm not suggesting that today was a waste of time. Everything we did was important, but it's very difficult for the jurors to spend so much time back there. It seems that they're just about ready to get this case, and everything that we hear now is very important. So I don't think anybody wants the jurors to tune out at this point. So let's try and keep things moving along. Mr. Jackson, how long do you expect to be with Dr. Rentschler?
What? Hour and a half, 2 hours. She's like, what?
I'm being corrected. 3 hours. 4. She has a better pace than I do. I don't watch my watch when I'm directing, but maybe it's
Oh my God.
between us and
Why does it matter?
So I told you all the other day, I thought I might be in a position to regret giving you last Thursday off. And that's where we're at. So let's be as efficient as we can
She cares about
possibly
4th of July.
Promise you we are. It's a murder trial, Judge.
I understand. All right.
No objections, Hank. Why does it? Was this
So,
happening
Mr.
with any
Jackson,
of
do
the
you
Commonwealth
expect that
witnesses?
Dr. Rentschler will be the last witness that you call? Okay. On
Wait,
rebuttal,
what?
any idea how long that will be, Mr. Brennan?
I'd like to keep it to 2 hours.
Okay. All right,
Wait.
that would be for everything, including Dr. Wrench,
Sorry,
Dr. Welcher?
Dr. Welcher, and then the DNA, all those 2 witnesses.
Wait, Ellington isn't testifying?
All right, so will Dr. Welcher be called after the DNA people?
Trying to schedule that, I would expect. to
Wait,
find
what the
out
fuck is going on?
when we get the DNA people, and Dr. Welcher will be here tomorrow or tonight, so he'll be here. So whoever's, if they're available, I'd like to get the DNA people in first.
Wait, I'm totally confused.
We haven't had confirmation on the flight.
All right, because I told Mr. Lessie that he could excuse himself from this testimony if there were other witnesses first, so that he can prepare once he gets the discovery from Dr. Welcher.
Thank you, Your Honor. Could we understand from the Commonwealth the names of the rebuttal witnesses?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were in the motion, right?
I'll get fucked.
We heard some different things at some point. If something happened with Dr. Lapazzato, they were going to be different. We heard that at high.
What is
Okay,
going
so the motion
on?
that I allowed was Ms. Kuhn. I believe Dr. Gillespie's name was in there,
Hartnett,
and Ms. Hartnett. Okay.
So that's the scope of Dr. Welcher, or the scope of the rebuttal witnesses for the Commonwealth.
Welcher's
Yes, I allowed the
last.
motion. Mr. Brennan says he's not calling Dr. Gillespie. Mr. Gillespie, right? Okay.
And nor Dr. Crosby.
Or Dr. Crosby. Right.
That's what I, yeah.
Who the hell is Gillespie?
Sorry, I know.
Well, it's important to know.
You're not calling their dog expert or your own, correct?
not calling Dr. Crosby.
Okay.
The other item, Your Honor, we want to alert you to, we will come tomorrow with a suggestion with regard to the curative instruction that was given to the court today. We're going to come tomorrow with, and ask to be heard on that.
Yes.
You know, so we're going to come in with that. What happened, what was discussed before, I'm not so sure.
You asked me to change it, was my recollection, Mr.
What?
Lindsay.
We looked at it at lunch, Your Honor, and appreciate the opportunity to confer with you on that. Don't want to keep the staff later today, but.
And I don't want to keep the jury waiting, so file something with me and I'll take a look at it. All right. All right, so that's it. We expect to be ready to go when the jury's here tomorrow morning, probably no later than 9:15, 9:20, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll use a full day, as much of it as we can.
What?
Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, thank you.
What does she think that she thinks she's like in control at the end of the day by saying like no, bitch.
I just
No.
love that Alessi said that they're going to have special instructions for the jury and they're just taking no prisoners with this because of the decisions Bev's made.
I think they're gonna go. I think they're going ham tonight. I think they're gonna file a ton of shit. Wait, let me get this straight. Are they trying to say that Ellington isn't testifying now? I think everybody's
not
confused.
sure.
Let me just explain everything to everybody. Dr. Rentschler is they're going to be their last witness, but he's not going to be. There's other people before they get to him. There's no way that it's Lapazzato and then it's Rentschler.
They're going to be also having the rebuttal witnesses.
They
as well.
they have not had a fucking expert to talk about anything to do with any digital evidence. Just so we're clear,
I didn't hear King come up right now.
all I'm just trying to say is this is just so we're clear, the defense has not called their own digital forensic expert. Digital forensic expert. And you're gonna sit there and tell me that that's not happening? Then they should fucking lose. How? What are you talking about?
I don't
They
know.
have to call it. They're calling Ellington. I think Bev is totally confused. I think Bev thinks that it's Lapasato and then Rentschler and then that's it, and that's not the case. But I don't think that Ellen Jackson and them understood what Bev was saying.
I have no idea, but yeah, I'm sure they're calling a digital person. The defense has to be calling a digital person in. The only way they wouldn't is if they did a pretrial and Bev denied it, and I haven't seen that.
Yeah, no, I know that he's in. What I don't want to see happen is that the defense over there is realizing what Bev said. I mean, we can roll back the tape. I swear she's under the impression that she's trying to say, okay, you have Lapasato and then you have Rentschler and then that's your last witness. And it's like, or was she saying that I'm just trying to understand, is Rentschler your last witness? Like it matters. I'm telling you right now, there's a huge, and I think that the defense is just like, we don't care what Bev thinks. We don't have to tell her our order or who we're calling her dick. We don't have to tell her shit. But she doesn't ask this of the Commonwealth on the in front of everybody. Like, who does she think she is? I just want to know who she thinks she is, because she never asked that of the Commonwealth. And so I don't understand why she's sitting here asking the defense to play their hand in front of playing their hand.
She's highly biased.
This is unfucking believable.
No, what? And then definitely they're calling Welcher as a rebuttal. They're gonna have to rebut him. They're gonna have, because unless he's gonna go.
Hey, do me a favor and just kick Wilson out.
Okay.
Thanks. I appreciate it. That's what I want. Yep. Thank you. You know me, I never do that. Out now. I can smell a troll a mile away. I don't play.
She don't play. So I just think that we need to figure out who's going, but they definitely are going to be calling a digital expert to go over the timeline and what happened.
Yeah. I just think what's happening here is that it's just like I get it. Like, your mind is moving like 1,000 miles a minute. In Bev, they do it on purpose, you guys. This is textbook redirect, to look over here. Like, Alessi said it best. He's like, let me get back into my mojo here. Let me get back into like my flow. And when he said that, I immediately texted and I wrote in there, I was like, Bella, you know what I'm about to say about that. They do that shit on purpose to fuck with your argument.
Always.
To take you off of where you were headed, because they know it's going down a path that is, oh God, no. We have
That's
to,
good.
like, hey, we're going to call timeout here. It's like icing the kicker.
Ella, is that is something playing?
Playing. What should be playing?
Okay, fix it. Go on. Sorry. Yeah, the flow.
Yeah, no, it's and I think this is why it's such a hard time talking about this case in terms of, okay, hey, Lana, go live and just talk about everything. Like, I've only ever talked about this case in terms of like the data and just to say like, yeah, Karen Reed's totally getting shafted here. Like, this is ridiculous. It's I just feel like nobody has to tell you this. Read one document and you'll see like, what? So for me, I don't understand why Bev is acting so perturbed. Like, she has somewhere else to be. Okay. Like, she should be giving Karen Reed in any, like, if you want to say, hey, you're presumed innocent, then treat me like I'm innocent, bitch. Treat me like I'm innocent. If I'm presumed innocent, why aren't you treating me like I'm innocent? And I know Ellington's got to be testifying. So I'm just saying right now, I'm going to tell you right now that fireworks are coming tomorrow, because
Bev is going to act like, why? Oh, I thought it was Dr. Laposado and then it was Rentschler. And and they're going to come back and say, no, we said that Dr. Rentschler was our last witness, but he wasn't. We never said that he was next. You get my flow?
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to say earlier is, what if the defense just decides we're not going to call Dr. Rentschler? I think Rentschler is going to be way easier for Hank to shake than Dr. Wolf. Like,
You do?
oh, hell yeah.
I don't know. I think that anyone could prepare, because Hank does the same thing in every one of his trials as a criminal defense attorney. He likes to get under the witness's skin and get them to come out of their character. He loves it. And if you know that and you're a professional and you're an advocate for truth, then all you do is just sit up there and tell the truth. It's not your dog.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna tell the truth and all that, but I think that Dr. Wolf always has kept his ground with Hank, and I think everybody's gonna know what I mean tomorrow when we hear from him, or if we even hear from him. But I thought that, okay, yeah, here we bring in Lieutenant. Wait, where's Garrett Wing? Why isn't he testifying? He like, when are we hearing from him? So like, that's all I'm trying to say here is that Bev, does she think that he's coming on next?
I
That's
know.
That's all I'm trying to say is that I know that we have Garrett Wing is allowed to testify. He was not said that he could not testify here at this trial. So you have him, you have Derek Ellington, who's the digital guy. Remember, we haven't heard from Richard Green. I told you guys we would not hear from Richard Green because of all the mishaps in trial one with him that he would use. So I knew that Richard Green was out. I knew he was out. I wasn't going to burst anybody's bubble, but I knew Green was out. And then when I saw Derek Ellington on the ticket, I said, yep, I would be doing the same thing because you don't want to allow his past testimony to be used in any type of way, And so I just hope that Bev isn't why wouldn't she be calling people to testify that they didn't see John on the lawn? All these people that were there. And then you need them to corroborate the fact that your garage wasn't made of a soft, foamy ground that everybody hung out in because it was a built-in, mother-in-law suite.
So Garrett Wing hasn't gone. Okay. Derek Ellington hasn't gone. Has Chris Van E, Dr. Van E gone?
No, but he's not supposed to go. Those people aren't going.
They mixed him.
No, all I care about testifying here is that they needed their digital forensic expert to testify, which is Derek Ellington. And there was already a motion in because he extended his report and he just wrote up another report on June 2nd.
Or something.
And so it is really important for the phones because to talk about that it's inaccurate, the inaccuracy of shit, because also I just can't believe whatever, this should be a mistrial regardless, just be not even happening. And then I don't understand why you're not calling the best evidence here in this case is to call everybody that was at that house to get up there and say that they never saw a body on the lawn. Why aren't you calling Matt McCabe? Why aren't you calling that fat fuck? How are you letting Matt McCabe get the fuck up out of here? And then maybe they're all just saying, Karen, we're going to handle him in the civil suit. Karen, we're going to handle him in the civil suit, But Matt McCabe, you were the driver looking out the window with the lights just glaring at 1:45. Matt McCabe, did you see a body on the lawn? They were all looking back at each other playing, patty cake. But not Matt McCabe. The biggest thing on this case is that none of these people saw a body on the lawn. How could all of these people not see a body on the lawn? So I don't know. Maybe they're going to use one day and they're going to rip through it. But according to Karen Reed, she thought they were going to be over on Tuesday. So I don't know.
Well,
Fuck
according
these
to
kids.
Bev, they were going to be over, like, if they could stay till Thursday. But I think that might be, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I think they really might have said there's only 2 witnesses, and that doesn't include Ellington. So I don't know. We'll update you guys. You'll do like a community post. We'll like look into it a little bit more.
They're all full of shit. This case makes me sick. This case is so sick. This case is honestly. Somebody said it best when someone's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna go. Oh wait, STS Nation said it. Surviving the Survivor said, I'm not even gonna cover the Karen Reed case because it's just so. Like they were like, no, like it was just. This case is a complete embarrassment to our justice system. I mean,
I'm
who
sorry,
rushes
reason why
people?
I'm
Who
I'm
rushes
on
people? Who does she like? These people can't even like speak. Like, can I get a second? That's exactly how I feel though. And every time I go to what I'm doing, I'm like, yo, hold on. Can a girl talk? Sit down and shut the fuck up. You too. Where are we all rushing off to? Like, that's what I don't get. Where are we? Bev, the jury is gone. No time is wasted. If we have to be here till 6 o'clock tonight to sort all this fucking shit out, we will be here till 6.
Yeah, her life is on the line. She's up for murder. Like, I don't understand.
What is going on here?
I don't understand how Bev is so flippant. with-
How long is it going to take? And like looking at it like, oh, it's going to take you 3 hours or 4 hours to ask these guys questions? Beth, well, unless you want to give me my mistrial, yeah. Like you're like Yuri says it best. You're doing your job, and you seem so fucking annoyed that you have to be here.
Yeah.
Bitch, give me my mistrial, and I'm out the door. You fucking skank. You think I want to hang out with your ass? This is crazy. Hey, we're going to do layups until we get this shit right. If we're going to be here all night making layups, here, we're doing that in basketball practice. These bitches can't stay to get it right in a goddamn murder case? Fuck all.
I did what you didn't do. I dunked on your ass.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we got to be here all night. You bitches can't make fucking layups. We're going to sit here until we can make layups. Let's go. But goddamn, your life on the line? I got better places to be. See you later. Girl, it's 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I got to get out of here. You soft ass fucking bitches. That's Commonwealth. Soft pussy platter motherfuckers. Period. I gotta go. I can't even talk about it. Peace. I'm out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love you. Fucking disgusting.